Okay, I just want to make sure that everything is running fine over here, that everything is working okay on both sides. Please just let me know if you encounter any problems. I know, man, hey, we've been having some issues, over the past few days. So I just want to make sure that everything is fine. Please let me know in the comments if you can't hear me, if there's anything that is going on, let me know so that I can fix it. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I am your host, and this, of course, is a place where we love South African football. Every now and then we love African football, and even a little bit we go overseas to go speak about what's happening that side. But we're going to be here, and we've got an intersection of South African football and a little bit of intersection of international for today's show. Now, guys, remember the show is an interactive show. You are able to jump in and speak to me live while I'm here and tell me what you are thinking about whatever it is that we're going to be talking about tonight. And you do that by pressing the multi-guest button at the bottom of your screen. That is a blue figure hugging a pink figure. You click on it, I let you in. We have a conversation about whatever it is that is pressing and whatever it is that is the topic for the night. Guys, remember the show is on every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Apologies for this week. I've been having some technical issues on top of coming back. But then also, if Chiefs, Pirates, Mamelodi, Sundowns, or Bafana or Bafana are in action, we will also be here watching the games live, doing our watch-alongs as we always do. The show is nothing without you guys. Today we're going to be speaking about two things. The first thing we're going to touch on is that we're going to speak about Hugo Bruce. We're going to speak about some of the comments that he made over the week. And we're going to speak about what repercussions those things have and what should be done after everything has been said and done. How do we stop this from happening in future? Because it's not the first time that he has gotten into trouble for said things. Then, of course, Coach Pitso went on to Robert Marawa's show and he was speaking about how this is the best time. This is the best time to coach Bafana, and that he wouldn't be against taking that job and taking over that job. So for me, I want to ask you guys if he's still a viable option. Is he still a guy that you'd want to see in that job? Is it still a job that should interest him? Is it still something that Coach Pitso can do? Today, guys, support. Look at that. That's where we're going to go today. So feel free to request and we can have a conversation about the topic at hand. And please let me know, man, if there's any problems, if I'm cutting, if the network, any of those things, please let me know and we can get into it. So we're going to start off with Coach Hugo Bruce. We're going to speak a little bit about Hugo Bruce and what transpired this week. For those who don't know, Hugo Bruce did his thing at a press conference, coming out and speaking about Mbogazi, speaking about that transfer to Chicago Fire, that he wasn't feeling it, speaking about the agent, Upasia Michaels, and saying that, well, she thinks she knows football, the little woman, as he says. And then also he went on to speak about discipline within Bafana. He's spoken about discipline with Mbogazi coming late and something that Pirates said to him. And then, of course, the big one, black man, white man, I'm going to speak to him, he's going to be white when he leaves that room. And all of what has happened has led to the UDM taking him to the Human Rights Commission. That is where he has landed now, for the Human Rights Commission. And I want to speak about how do we stop this from happening and what do you guys think and what happens from there. So I'm going to start off here with Bongs. Bongs, welcome to the show. How are you, my brother?
No, I'm shaloming today on behalf of Agent. Yes, my best friend, Agent. Shalom in the house.
Bugs, Orinka Hugo Bruce, man. Orinka Hugo Bruce.
First of all, why does UDM interfere in football? Why does politics interfere in football?
Why does Bruce interfere with the politics of the country?
I just want to know, why do UDM interfere in football? Because but then again, as we look at it, he was saying what he's feeling about the Mbogazi. We all said it ourselves. Okay, it's a wrong move for a team in America, because football in USA is not that good for Mbogazi to get developed. And yes, Hugo Bros is right, but the way he said it was not good. We used to warn Hugo Bros about his words when it came to Kaizer Chiefs, and now it's Orlando Pirates taking the bullet.
Is it Bongs? Is it a national team's coach?
Yes,
Is it the national team coach's job to care about some of these moves? Is it his job to comment about these moves?
Yes, it's his job because he has the best interest for South Africa because he wants South Africa to succeed. Look, ever since Hugo Bros Afita, Bafana, we've now had back-to-back Africa Cup of Nations qualifications. We finished third in the last AFCON. We managed to even qualify for the World Cup. Without him, we would have never qualified because now he managed to find the right players for Bafana. He knew who was good and who was not good to play for Bafana. So I think what he said it because he was talking as a South African coach who had the best interest in Bafana, rather than just being a puppet, Yasafa, like the previous coaches who were told what to say in the media instead of being real about what's going on in the Bafana camp.
So Bongs, wouldn't it have been better for Bruce to call Mbogazi, to speak to Basia when they're making these moves, to keep in touch with them, to create the connection? Because it doesn't even seem like he knows them. What help does it make now that he's signed the deal, he's inked the deal, everything is done, and he speaks afterwards? Does it add anything to whatever's happening? Because it's done. And shouldn't, if he does have the best interest of the country, shouldn't that have been a conversation that happens elsewhere?
He should have had a conversation with the agent before making the move. But now everything happened behind closed doors. Nobody knows who said the deal must go on. Was it Khoza? Was it the agent? Or was it Mbogazi? Or was Mbogazi just told, take the money, it's a better offer than what they were giving you in Europe?
But then, Bongs, isn't that the problem?
Yes,
that
okay.
Even when he speaks, we're not gaining any more information. He's speaking like a fan. We are fans. Rakwata, Bogazi has signed. It's done. Now he has to deal with fallout from this. Isn't that the problem with Hugo Bruce speaking all the time?
I don't think it's a problem because the fans, born, they were just going to say Khoza was not letting the boy go because this was a great opportunity for him. Plus, he was going to make money. Football is not about just making money. It's about careers and making a name for yourself. Look, in America, what's the benefit that Mbogazi is gonna get? Because at the moment, he's signed the deal, yes, but he's now going to be moved to the development side of the club instead of playing for the first team, which he signed for in the first place.
Well, Bongs, that's a rumor. Even Bruce said, according to, shouldn't that be handled by Chicago Fire before he says anything? I'm still there. I think we just have a bit of a...
This season to make sure that vehicles are roadworthy at more than 2.5.
Okay, I think Bongs, I'm gonna just check. I want to see if it's just me or not. PK, can you hear me?
OT, I can hear you loud and clear.
How are you, PK? Long time, man.
No, I'm sorting them one by one. I mean, I need 1 by 10. You have a slice.
PK, where do you sit on this thing, man? This whole fiasco.
Yeah, no. Look, OT, I just want to start by saying the truth have a way of opinions on how it must be handled. People are allergic to the truth, and they will find any narrative to distort the actual issue And later when we see it as a country, we run and we say, yeah, no, actually, yeah, umadala washu. Sangekho umadala shem kubale abo RIP lapho after buma 10 years. Basically, we have ill-disciplined players. Firstly, OT, let me start by this example. Then I address the issue because yeah,
Yeah.
I want to. That's why today I'm like, I want this opportunity. If a crime, it's a crime. I want to say a crime is a crime, OT. Whether it's in the purple or a green stickers. If a boy dies, it's still a crime. And if a girl dies, it's still a crime. And we as a country, we have found a way of trying to push narratives to be accepted in a context ya mare lo bengamelanga yenze kanje umfazi mos mara indoda mayikhala indoda qina. And I just want to pass there. That's one of the examples. I know it's a sensitive issue, but I need to bring it.
Yeah.
Bruce come and say, I have a problem. The boy was called. He had certain days to perform what he needed to do or whatever. Apparently, go group he need to perform ancestral what. I don't know, or maybe you guys know. But he doesn't tell Bruce. He doesn't tell the Hugo. He goes and asks the coach to say he loses a flight in Seal. And then the coach calls Bruce and say, hey, this is the situation. Then right there, Bruce indicates to say, then I was angry. In fact, Are, usimuluza send a message, a nonsensical message. And I'm phoning. We don't know what happened there, if Bruce replied to the message or not. And then the coach apparently called him. And after calling him, he tells him, no, Bogazi will come later because he lost the flight and stuff.
Yeah.
Then Bruce says it's an unprofessional manner. And in a social platform, he speaks from that context to say we have a problem of South Africa or black, whatever how he labeled it, thinking that they are stars, and this is the attitude of the star to come late and we need to start there and address the issue right there to say this is the problem of unprofessionalism. Let's start there. Let's address that before we go to the nice little human.
Is that the platform for it? Because to use your example, murder, the police will tell you, we don't release a report until we've done an autopsy, until we've done an investigation, until we're fine, right? Then we can also now tell you the full story of the murder, the full story of it. But if now a policeman Mtembu arrives and he says, "I'm man, ubulelo ki PK mutona," then now to the public, I might go get PK, PK 1, 2, and 3. PK Asobui, he hasn't been given a chance to give his side of the story. He hasn't given his chance to do anything. Isn't that the problem here? Not necessarily the truth, but Leona truth ya thing ki half story.
Yeah, I think you were coming right, because I wanted to speak about maybe we should consider something. Because in police, you won't talk to an IO, investigating officer. You will talk to a spokesperson. He will tell you about the progress of not the investigating officer. In fact, and maybe football must look into how to protect coaches, because football is emotions. It's a lot of stress. Hugo now is preparing. He's not supposed to be in a platform, a social platform, and talking.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of emotions.
Yes.
Probably we must look into that and say, isn't there someone who can be a spokesperson of Bafana about the matters of Bafana right? To protect Hugo and the tactical team. And so the dynamics and the context are different on subs and on football. But I made that example because I wanted to discourage this tendency of not dealing with real issues but responding to the emotions of someone. If I'm frustrated, If I'm saying from my context that Basadi, for example, Basadi Kini Noha, it's my experience gore ke kopane le noga, but it doesn't mean gore and it will depend on how you interpret it. Ha ke re basadi ke dinoga. And someone will be saying, but you are abusive, a chauvinist. But you don't know gore ne ke dutse le motho for 15 years and get a montlung. So the dynamics and the context is always different. But I'm starting from this issue of
Very
saying
quickly,
it is so unprofessional. Yeah. Man, Uti. It is let's firstly deal with the issue of saying the boy missed the flight without informing the tactical team of Bafana, even the coach. Coach had to hear from someone else. Let's start it from there. And we can deal with the issue of saying, because Hugo in his interview, he continuously saying, I am angry, I am angry, I am angry. But we're not going to get that. He continuously indicating that to say, I am angry. One might argue to say, but why would you come into a public platform and say, you are angry, and what? Someone is pushing a narrative, and I hope I'm staying. I will come back, OT. I will come back.
I'm gonna, you're a member, so I'll let the members, I give members free some free roll. But let me bring really Litabo, welcome. How are you?
No, OT. Hey, I'm good. Hey, OT, we must invite us. We must also be members, eh?
Send them the DM, man. Hey, Litabo, where do you sit on this?
What does this man want? What does Hugo Bruce want? What's South Africa? What does he want? Nothing, Anish. He's won nothing. And that must be always remembered when you speak of Hugo Bruce. OT, not surprising. You know, nothing surprising here. Hugo Bruce has been a blunt individual. He speaks his mind. He speaks as he pleases. You know? And when he does that, there are always reactions. You know? When he spoke about Mbogazi, it was unnecessary to do it in the public. Number one. We're not saying that what Mbogazi did was right. Everybody's saying it's wrong. He had the time. He should have been on time and all of that. He just should have been on time, and he's wrong, and his agent is wrong, and he could have dealt better with this. Could have spoken to the team manager for Bafana, could have called Hugo, could have whatever, but he should have been there on time. Okay. That's number one. Hugo Bruce, this thing of having foreigners as coaches is also a problem. This is the worst time you can make sort of sexist comments in the nation. The worst. You can't pick a worse time right now. It's the worst time to speak of a woman and speak as if she's incapable of doing her job. The worst time. Right? When Hugo Bruce speaks on transfers, who's to say that these players are going to get other chances to get transfers? There's no guarantee. And if he wants Mbogazi to go overseas, I'm sure he's a coach. He's a coach, he has pedigree. He can influence that. I'm sure he can bring scouts to watch them. If he really believes that players must go at a certain league or wherever, he should have influenced those transfers. He should have pushed them. If he really believes that. The chance came for Mbogazi to go there. The kid must take that opportunity, go make money for his family. He must go there and make money for his family. Even if he plays 4 years there, he'll be a millionaire. His family will be fine. Look at Cassius. Cassius has been there. I'm sure he's a millionaire. 2 years, whatever. I'm sure he's a millionaire. He's in Europe now. He's got a platform. Hugo Bruce treated Jayden Adams this way, and he outed him. But he didn't do it in such a manner that it was in the public eye like this. We just heard that he's not happy with his attitude and he's left the camp. But it's also his fault. It's also Hugo Bruce's fault. When you select young players, this happens. You expect young players to behave in this way. They don't have the experience of being professional. Mbogazi is what, 18, 19, 20? He's a kid. So you have a bunch of kids that you've selected there. And he must take a responsibility of saying that, no, I have made a mistake by selecting a lot of young players. Oh, not a mistake, but rather it's inevitable that young players are going to make a mistake when you select a ton of young players. We've seen this not only in South Africa, even in England, in the England camp,
Okay.
where you had the our Mason Greenwood bring in women into their hotels during the Euros. So these things happen when you have young players. Hugo Bruce must take that responsibility and say that, okay, I could have dealt with this situation better. But to go and be sexist, say black and white, oh, that's unnecessary. We understand he's a frank coach. He may be speaking some serious things, but no, man.
What do you say to the people that say we need the honesty? Nobody else is saying it. Nobody's brave enough to come out and say it. If Hugo Bruce has to be the guy to give us the bitter pill, then he's the guy. What do you say to those people?
OT, nobody who's spoken here before, here, who's the post, and you had two guys say that it's right for a player to arrive late. Nobody were all saying that the player should have been there on time. But there's a way in which you can deal with this. And his comments are very sour. His comments are to go and speak on women as if they're incapable of doing their job. That is totally wrong. And Safa should have released a statement apologizing to that lady. The connotation of the way he spoke, that's just terrible. The worst possible time you could do it. And he must shoulder that responsibility.
For
And
time,
one of the speakers of this guy, yeah, sorry, one of the speakers of this guy has achieved the great qualify. He's failed to qualify for us World Cup last time, but he failed us with the Ghana thing. Now he's qualifying for a World Cup with 10 teams or whatever.
For time.
Was relax, this guy.
Let me bring in Agent, my brother, Jihad, Shalom. You are Shalom today.
Jihad times 10. Mr. OT, let's separate two issues. Guys was late and he was called out. Sharp, good. Guys' move to MLS according to Hugo Bruce is not fine. Good. His agent, whatever, he shouldn't, is after the money, that according to Hugo Bruce, good. Those are his opinions. And he has every right to make them. But we must separate them from the two issues, which is the issue that he raised about black and white and of the little woman. Those are two things. Those the other three things, he was right and everything, opinions, everything doesn't matter. It is like people that want us to say Lodge is a good player, but they want to divorce that he's a convicted criminal. We shouldn't shy away from that. But maybe not. We must not shy away from that. And the two things can be true simultaneously. Right? One, Hugo Bruce made a statement that can be seen as racist statement. Full stop. Not question mark, OT. Full stop.
Yeah.
He made a statement that can be seen as sexist and demeaning. Full stop. Not question mark. Full stop. Right? Those are things that you must enter into. Now, even if I think people are confused and want to make it about gender, even if I say Lomfana, we're referring to you, OT, it would not be right. It would not be right.
Okay.
It can never be right. Whether woman, man, I don't care, green, purple, yellow, pink, I don't care. You cannot call someone little. You cannot do that. Especially a grown person who probably has kids. Imagine your kid being referred to as little. It doesn't matter. You can't say to someone like that as little and refer to him as little. I don't care who says what. That is wrong. That is very, very, very wrong. And should never, it doesn't matter the context. Even if I say, don't follow overthinking, even if I say it in a joking manner, it is wrong, it is disrespectful, it is demeaning. And it should never be allowed in our society. The context doesn't matter. Two, the second thing that we must accept is you can make a statement. Whether you mean it, he said, this little woman, nice little woman. You are saying this little woman. It doesn't matter the context. It's very wrong to refer to someone as that. You know? Yes, it's fine. You little Njabul, it's fine. You can be accepted to be Kolomfa now. It's fine. Let me move on from that. Continuing. Mr. Oti, let's accept that what you say, even if you say it with the purest of intentions, how I receive it, don't blame me for how I receive it, because you said it. Right? You cannot say someone is doing monkey tricks. And if that someone sees that as a racist comment, especially if you're white, you want to blame that person. It can never be wrong. Even though you yourself said you were trying to say he's making stupid tricks, the fact that you used a connotation that says monkey tricks, whether you didn't mean it in that way, the fact is someone interpreted it that way, and that is wrong. There's a coach called Luke Amel. He said people are making a lot of noise. Monkeys make a lot of noise. He didn't say people are monkeys. He just happened to say monkeys make noise, just like these people. But people interpreted that as saying people are monkeys. And because he's white makes it worse. So he was terminated. So my point is here, Mr. OT. Whether he meant it or he didn't mean it, it doesn't matter.
I want to ask you.
He said something. Let me finish, Mr.
Okay,
Oti. He said something that may be seen, and I alone, even if I'm alone, I don't care. I see it as a racist comment. And the fact that I and many other people see it as a racist comment should make Hugo Bruce to come and apologize to a country. More so that he's from Belgium. And you have not forgotten, it's the same Belgium that colonized Africans. And he was there and he was alive and he enjoyed the fruits of colonization. As a white man, he's very wrong, Mr. Oti. And he must be called out. I don't care who says what, he must be called out. Yes, Mr. Oti, you wanted to ask you a question.
Hey, time. Okay, wait. Okay. I'll have to go over. What I wanted to ask was, is that the place to say things? Like the platform of a press conference at Bafana, is that the place to say certain things? Even honest or not?
For me, again, it's very disingenuous for you OT to tell me, don't go to Cape Town, but you're not opening a door to Pretoria. What has Hugo Bruce done to open a door for Belgium, since he's from Belgium? Has he made an opportunity to say, don't take players to MLS, take them to Belgium? Because you can't just say, don't go to MLS and not provide an alternative. So he also is part of the problem.
Okay. For time.
And there's a disclaimer, I'm not a Chiefs fan and I don't care who says what. Hugo Bruce must apologize and he must be called to order. As an old man as he is, he must be careful with what he says. Thank you, Mr. Oti.
I want to bring in Tyler before I give some of my thoughts and let the next panel in. Tyler, welcome. Hey.
Hey, Oti, how are you, Oti? I'm not well, Oti. We're dying.
In
we
December.
love overthinking football. Even when we're dying, we are here.
No, thank you. Tell me, where do you sit on this thing, Tyler?
I'm not going to be long, Oti. I think if you listen to Madala, he kept saying, I'm very angry. I'm very, very angry. I'm very angry. And we all know that when you are angry, even yourself, when you fight with your woman, you end up saying things that you're not supposed to be saying, right? And, he said three things. I think agent is, precise. And there was another gentleman who said, I think it was PK, where is SAFA communication team, because there's supposed to be someone, even Namapoyista guys, they've got a spokesperson. Every department, ministers, they've got a spokesperson. Where is the communication from SAFA to control the narrative? And also Mdala, since he also said that he was angry, it means he said things that he shouldn't have said, and he knows that. He's supposed to come out, apologize, guys, we're going to AFCON. We don't need this. Look now, there's political parties that are coming to the fore, you know. We don't know how this thing is going to affect the players going forward, right? And we don't know how this is going to affect Mbogazi. The issue of a woman, belittling that woman like that, with our country having challenges, gender-based violence. You've got millions of fans listening to that. Some of these fans are illiterate, some are not okay in their head, some, you know, you don't know. You don't need that, right? That's why now there's Human Rights Commission that are being called over. And you saying Boaz is that black guy, when it comes out after I speak to him, is going to be white. You are literally saying anything that is white is right. So Mdala Manai, man, that's not the way. You need to come out and apologize, OT. That's my take on this one.
Tyler, can I ask you?
Yes.
If these things are real problems, if these things are real problems,
Yeah.
and he cares for it like that, is the
Yes,
press
yes.
conference the right place to address these things? And what does that say about press conferences in the country without journalists too?
I think he was asked questions, OT, right? And you can't control what the person will say. I mean, he's an old coach. He's supposed to know what to say, when to say it, right? There's nothing wrong in asking that question, because there are people like us who are interested in finding out certain things, you know, within the camp. So you need to strike a balance and find ways of saying things, even if you are angry. You just rather stop yourself and say, he came late, I'm not happy, I'll deal with him. You know, that's it. Not to go deeper. I understand the LMS thing. He's never liked that league. Even with my Lula, he never liked it, right? And I think Agent is right to say, you come from, from the country you come from. What doors have you opened for your players to say, guys from that country, to say, come and scout here. I'm a coach here. I've got good players in this league. And you've been complaining about South African players not going overseas. What are you doing as an international coach? And even on top of that, you're not even calling players. You don't even go overseas and watch players that are playing, that are coming from South Africa, that are playing overseas. But you keep telling people that you don't have enough players playing overseas. What are you doing about it as a coach? It's like complaining without solutions, basically. So he was wrong, OT. There's no two way about it. He has to come out, apologize to that woman, and apologize to the country. We're coming from a very dark place in this country where whites were, still is, by the way. Go to Sandton and you see the rich this side and the blacks this side. You know, we are still divided. You know, we're still struggling with that history still to date. So for you as a white man in a national platform and say stuff like that, doesn't sit well with us. You can hear Agent was boiling here. Thanks, OT.
For time, I'm going to jump in. I'd just like to say, guys, the thoughts and views expressed by those in the panel and those in the comments are not those of Overthinking Football or its host, Josh Mokwena. Anything that is said should be treated like fiction or should be treated as a part of a debate or a discussion. The reason why I do that, guys, is because this is a public platform. If I don't watch what I say, if I don't watch what people say, there's plenty of things that can happen to me inadvertently or even vetedly, if that's the word, right? So I think my point about this whole thing has been, you can't use a public platform as a place where you can just speak reckless. At the very least, if you want to speak about things, make sure you've got it written in a certain way. You've got it, you've prepared, you've sat with the people, you've got a PR person, you've done all that stuff. So that when your statement comes out, you've handled all these little things, and maybe somebody who is a professional in this thing could say, or keep to the point that you're making, right? Because that's the whole point. The moment you bring something to the public, now there's people who don't watch football, who don't care about Hugo Bruce, who don't know him. It lands in my living room. Black men What? You've brought me in. There's a UTM that was sitting wherever UTM sitting. Angazi, Olomisa. But now, because you're reckless, you've now opened a place for those guys to jump in, whether it's right, whether it's relevance, whether it's whatever. That's why some people say, no comment. That's why Jose Rivero says, I'm not going to answer that question. Why are you asking me that question? That's why if you interview anybody famous, they have people sitting in the background, behind the cameras. When you ask something that's left, they jump in and go, whoa. We're not going there. It's not because the truth mustn't come out, but what are the repercussions of the truth that you're speaking about? And what does that mean for everybody else that is involved in this, that you have not given a right to reply? You've not given a right to address? You have not taken out all the information. So even now, you are hearing his side, and Abombogazi are being nice enough not to speak their turn, whether right or wrong. They're being nice enough not to say some things. Basia was on a platform saying, there's things I won't say, because that's between the player and Chiefs and Zbanban. But anyway, for time's sake. Jabulo, welcome, how are you?
Hey, I'm blessed, my brother, and how are you?
Man, ngimnandi Jabule, hey. That's let it be serious, man. Yo.
I will talk from different aspects. You know,
Okay.
Mr. Oti, myself, I'm in the military, so I work with all different races. So there are things that we utter, we don't see them as racist. I can call a white man certain names, and there will be nothing Yabona taken to order concerning them.
Yeah.
But another thing that we black people are facing, we like to play victims most of the time. There is no person on this earth who like to play a victim like a black man. I'm sorry to say that, but it's the truth. Black people, they like to play victim. There was an issue whereby that was raised. They said the FIFA president is having a problem with Patrice Motsepe, because when he's attending these so-called big awards and certain people are around, he doesn't call him into podium. But Patrice Motsepe, vice versa, he does call him to podium. So you see, we like to compare things that they are not even supposed to be there. And when it comes to Hugo Bros, yes, he might be saying things, but another thing, we tend to take the words and the content of something. Just hear the nature when he was addressing that thing. When he addressed the issue of, no, I know Mbogazi, yeah, he's a black guy, but when I have a conversation with him, when he comes out, he will be a white man. He was not saying in a bad way. But the way now people are interpreting it, it's like now it's a racist comment. This coach is a racist. The same person who was praising Bogas previous collapse. He's been praising Bogas. It's just that he was not happy with the way Bogas conducted himself. But to come now and say this guy is a racist, this guy is a sexist, I think like we black people, we tend to overreact, man, in lots of things, and I don't know why. Something like that must come out of us, man.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You spoke about the military and you spoke about the conversations you have inside the military. Would you be fine having those conversations anyway?
Yes, we do engage to such thing. That's why I'm saying, Guruna, there are comments that we made with my little brothers, and unfortunately, I'm part in 17. Then I'll be like, hey, look, the white man is working here and is using a broom and this and this. There's some comments that we post, and we just playful. It's not like maybe I'm saying something.
Would you put your conversations on TV? If I was just to film it.
Sometimes I cannot. Yes.
Why is that? I guess that's the question. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There are some comments I cannot. Yes.
Why?
Right.
Why wouldn't you say that?
Because people, they will see them as me being racist or that other fellow party being but it's not the case. So that's why I'm saying good. Sometimes it's not like you meant to do harm. But because maybe the way we are putting your weights, contracting your weight, they are not proper to other people. I think that's the problem about Hugo Bros. Velege is a person that is not liked because of the way how he does things. So
Yeah.
most of the people, they don't like him.
Yeah.
That one is the fact. People, they don't like Hugo Bros because of he usually tell it like it is. So that's the problem we are facing with Umadala. But I wouldn't crucify Madala, and I wouldn't say now we must come and apologize. Apologize for what?
Would
Come on,
you
man.
want to control it now? Would you want to maybe now umtshela uMatala ukuthi Matala yekelani labantu tana mayishayile, you've made the announcement hamba, would that be something you do?
Yeah, we can just say, hey, Madala, the only thing that you must do now is just to call Bogaz in order in a private space whereby you and Bogaz you have a conversation. But these other things, don't entertain them. You mustn't entertain, especially when it comes to politicians. You mustn't entertain such things. I'm sorry to say this word. The UDM leader, he was interviewed in Gagasi FM, whereby he exploded. He even used a FU to a listener. And it's the same person that is coming to open a case about Hugo Bros. He's having a double standard, that guy. And unfortunately, he's a deputy in the military. So he mustn't come with double standard here.
Okay. No, for time I'm going to jump in. Let me bring in Ritabile. Ritabile, welcome to the show. How are you? Ritabile Sports Live.
I'm okay. And how are you, Chief?
I'm good. Hey, this is a hot topic, my brother. Where do you sit on it?
I don't see any problem with Hugo Bruce, and I don't know why he should come in the media and apologize. That means if he comes and apologizes, he must also apologize for what he said to this guy, Jaren Adams, Fawaz Basadine, Keisha Mailula. He must come back, then I must apologize for all what he said. Right? So for me, I don't see any reason for him to come and apologize. And remember, should he have called Umbogazi on his side for him to apologize, or maybe to speak to Umbogazi like Kosaidine, that would have also sparked within the camp of saying, why is he calling Umbogazi Kosaidine to reprimand him? Why not in public, like how he talked about other players in public? So for me, I'm happy with that. He took him on public and said whatever he said about him on public so that he can learn that Mbogazi is not bigger than that camp. He's also a player like other players within the camp. So should he took him in the side and reprimanded him on the side, it was also sparked favoritism within the camp. So I'm happy with him coming in public and saying what he said about Mbogazi in public, like how he said it about other players.
Would it have been a stronger message if Mbogazi was sitting next to him? And maybe Mbogazi had a statement?
I don't think maybe if he took Mbogazi in a close and reprimanded him, it would have gotten to him, like how it got into him right now when he spoke about him in public.
No, I'm saying Mbogazi in public at the press conference sitting next to Hugo Bruce and both of them addressing this, maybe even an apology from Mbogazi, wouldn't that have been a little bit stronger to show that Vele, you've even spoken to the player about this?
Do you mean that Mbogazi should apologize to Hugo, or Hugo must apologize to Mbogazi?
Mbogazi should apologize to the nation. So if Hugo's bringing it up in front of the nation, wouldn't it be better to have him here and say, I've spoken to him, we've had our peace? Kiyo, Kiyo, as part of his punishment, we've spoken, we've come to an agreement, rather than we haven't spoken, and I've already spoken outside about him.
No. Mbogazi shouldn't be apologizing to public.
Oh, Mari did something wrong.
Any apology
to Bafana, the national team.
Wait, his apology was the apology. His apology was the apology he made to Hugo Bruce. If he made that apology, that was his apology. Us as people, he owes us no apology. Even Hugo Bruce owns us no apology with his remarks he has made. And remember, Mbogazi is no longer an Orlando Pirates player. I think his last game as an Orlando Pirates player was the game ka final Yakalin. That was his last game. So I think for me, him calling his former employers or his employers at that time to call this guy Hugo Bruce was not a good statement. That's why I think Hugo Bruce said it's a nonsensical, if I heard correctly. I think for him, he would have called his agent to call Hugo Bruce.
Is that what happened?
That way, it would have worked.
No. So do we deserve do we deserve the full story? Because even what you're saying now, we don't know. It hasn't been told. Bruce hasn't told us the whole thing. Pirates hasn't said anything. Bogazi hasn't said anything.
Hence,
do we also need public to tell us the whole story?
No. Hence, I'm saying I think it would have been better if Mbogazi called his agent straight. Because remember, Mbogazi is no longer a Pirates player, right? So I think for me, it would have been better for him to call his agent to call the federation, not him call his former employers or call Abdeslam Wadu to go through him to Hugo Bruce. Hence, maybe Hugo Bruce said it's a bit nonsensical for him, for Wadu or Pirates to call him.
Is that what this? Okay, so what I'm asking, just here's the final question. That's Hugo Bruce's side.
Yes.
We don't even know if that's what happened. We don't know what was said. We don't know what the message was. He didn't say what it was.
But then,
should we take what Bruce says as the law?
But then, do you think Hugo Bruce can come in public and say that Pirates sent me a message without Pirates sending him a message?
He didn't tell us what was in the message. So that's what I'm saying, that I don't know what the message was. That he could have interpreted it as being disrespectful, or maybe you read the message later and it makes sense, but to him it's a way. Are we not getting one side of the story?
But then we don't deserve to know the context or the details of the message. If he says Pirates or OT sent me a message, that means yes, OT sent him a message. So for him to go in public and say that, it's obvious there was a message that was sent to him.
Okay, no, for time, let me jump in. I want to bring in Usije. CJ, welcome. How are you?
Alala, Mr. Oti, alala.
Oh, you see, this is how you are here. I saw you next door. I saw you, come on, agent. How you are. It's fine, man. It's fine.
Mr. Oti. I never thought in my life I would come across a day where people don't understand the difference between a racist person and a racist statement. A sexist person and a sexist statement. I never thought, Mr. Uti. I never thought. But here we are. In your life, explaining the sad part about it, you know. We are we are in a country, Mr. Oti, that has a particular history. We are in a country where
I've got you.
We are in a country where we have taken a decision of trying to balance the past or the implications of our past. South Africa is a result of systems that have been set in place, and we want to correct those results. One of the things that we want to correct is the dignity of black people that has been stripped from them. The value of blackness that has been stripped by systems that were set in place to strip it. So they are deliberate
as motions in place and systems in place to ensure that we protect it from its dignity being stripped even further. We have placed a system in place to ensure that women that have been marginalized, secluded from occupying male-dominated spaces, we are intentionally trying to reverse those things. Now, when you enter such a country, you have to be cautious of such things. You have to be cautious. The manner in which you speak to women in South Africa, you have to be cautious. You have to be cautious. You cannot be as business as usual. You have to cut slack to women, in particular black women. You have to be part and parcel of and particularly at the helm of South African football, where the position that Hugo Bros occupies. You're supposed to protect those women, not to degrade them on public platforms and drag their names and belittle them on public platforms the way that he did. As the bafana coach, you are supposed to be the first ally of particular women agents, even worse, black women agents. You are supposed to be the one that protects them even more than us. So when he makes those utterances, Mr. Oti, it pains me. It really pains me that when you refer to a professional that is in a professional space that is linked to you and say to her, that little girl at work. You are not at a party here, at a braai behind your house. You are at work. Press conference is part of your work. It's a span. Therefore, you have to speak in a particular manner. You cannot be speaking as if you are at a pub with buddies sharing a beer when you are in front of cameras as a professional coach that is leading South Africa's national team. You are at work, and therefore the people that are working with you, that are connected to your work, you treat them professionally, and you address them professionally as well.
Do you think that that's something that outside of Hugo Bruce, is it something that should be instilled into people that take that responsibility? Because surely someone at SAFA has to know about these contexts, and surely someone at SAFA or wherever has dealt with this. Are there things you can do to protect against this, even if you do, let's say, get a racist coach? Let's say he's racist in his private time, right? But when you get here, is there a way to control those things?
Of course there is. There are media coach briefings. There are media briefings. There are media tactic briefings that you as a coach undergo. Even me, Mr. Oti, if they're going to send me to go and make a media statement, there is a briefing that I undergo. These are the things that you must say. These are the things that you must run away from. These are the things that, please understand, this is our stance as an institution, and please ensure that you portray our institution in the best light. If we can do that,
30 seconds.
What is in South Africa? SAFA is a better institution than us. Because at the end of the day, my utterances is going to hold the institution at high regard if I say things that are offside. As I said before, Mr. Oti, I'm not in a motion of get rid of Hugo Bros. But it comes to a point that he must know that there are things that we do not tolerate in this country. One of them is racial utterances. Two is sexist utterances. We are a country that is inclusive, non-sexist, and non-racial. It is there, Mr. Uti, in our country. So he must understand that. Please, other than that, Mr. Uti,
For time.
congratulations to Mr. Hugo Bros for going to AFCON and or for going to the World Cup.
Time, CJ. Malume Kutso, man.
But it's not like someone is important is on top is coming. It's not like someone
Yeah,
important
born
is
again.
coming.
Yeah, born again. Yeah, born again. Let me go to Malume Kutso. Malume Kutso, welcome.
Mr. Uti, bring us, Mr. Uti. Why are you calling it as hectic on Friday?
Ay, man, angithi December. Anytime is tea time, man. Now.
Hey, it December. Pop my pop champagne. Has been happy. How them not? How them TV?
Utomamnati.
But mile ba shile setetse mnate. Tlamele ke be discuss setetse tsa Adidas or Adidas e tlo ka ya bafana fashion show like it does with Orlando Pirates, you know, or because Orlando Pirates has that ritual thing of walking out, but it's also an Adidas advert. Is bafana also going to be adopting a couple of eggs, you know? Mr. OC, how many eggs are we taking to the AFCON? Are we taking free range? Which brand? Have we discussed? Or are we supporting black business? So thenga amaqanda la komraho komagogo or the Rwanda Pick n Pay. Mnati OT.
Re tla di bona. I get go tla ba mnati blind from the 21st up until next year.
No, good December, Mr. Uti. We must also ask Bafana hore Tamalani la Pirates Big Show. Why is that only collab? Because now we have much Big Show yet deserve collab. Angeni na machita kobisa mampali la po AFCON. Bakhala bo Musala. But what's happening? It's a trend. It's very on CNN, Sky Sports.
Li trenda ka Hugo, li trende ka. Hey.
Yeah. But anyway, Mr. Uti, look,
Hey, Mara, you guys.
Having listened to everyone, you know, I think as South Africa, we need to do a lot of work in terms of education.
Okay.
Lehorona, Mr. Ot, what is sexism? When someone, and do we mistake disrespect for sexism? When someone actually, in a statement, equates you to your male counterparts. Do we still see sexism in that? Because he literally said that little girl is doing what all of the other agents are doing and chasing man. So he's not necessarily saying women or little women do differently from big men. He is saying they are all the same. So where is the sexist aspect or kanaking? Or is it are we misconstruing it disrespect for sexism?
I think isn't it that I know I've learned myself that people the problem about the public or the thing about the public is that parts and segments of what you say can be taken and made bigger than they are or are meant to be, or even if they are. But there's people who focus on different things within whatever you're speaking about, and part of the job of the public relations is to make sure that as far as possible you cover as many of those things to stop the different things that someone might be looking for in whatever you say. Like, I know with myself, there's things I can live with that people say, but there's other things that I know I have to phrase differently just in case, if that makes sense.
No, we're on the same page, Mr. Uti. Trust me, I'm well aware of kind of public perceptions and all of that. Now, when will we get to a point where, as South Africans, we challenge ourselves and we hold ourselves to a higher standard in terms of comprehension?
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying, okay, let me not even put a disclaimer. Because if we're all gonna agree, which maybe he did not mean any to be racist or anything, then why are we dwelling on it? And why are we allowing wiggle room for someone to misinterpret something incorrectly? And when something is then explained, why do we hold on to the incorrect information? Because I feel like it's these small things that take away from the real cases, Mr. Uti. It's these mispunishments, if that's even a word, that create allies for actual perpetrators. Where someone knows, for I was falsely accused, and then someone who is an actual racist, someone who actually makes actual racist statements, then comes in and says, yeah, vele banjalo. Are we not creating that? Because how can it baffles me, Mr. Uchi, we can all come to this platform and say, no, he didn't mean it, but he was wrong. What are we saying?
Can I just say, me personally, I don't even know if what he said, I don't wanna stand for or against any of the things. But where would you say the responsibility lies in messaging, especially at a grand scale?
Yes, you are to a large extent responsible for what you say, right? Can I even elaborate, Mr. Uti?
Okay.
There are certain statements that we make here, and Agent Uyo, he nipped it in the bud, but he didn't blow it out of proportion. People will come onto platforms and say "purple gang," right? If someone can twist that and say, "Are you belittling the experiences of I'm a victim?" Was that your intention?
I don't know.
Is that right? But can we then, if we know with you were just afraid of saying I'm an activist, you just use the word purple gang as a colloquial term or whatever. Should we be blind of that, Mr. Oti, when we understand where you were coming from? Because so many people make these mistakes, Mr. Oti, and with the world, with how the world is moving currently, you will say Hugo Bros, he's wrong or whatever, and then how do you know he identifies as a he? Are you not prejudicing him, or rather, are you not being stereotypical, thinking every male identifies as a he? Is that not a violation of his identification?
I think here's my thing. My thing is that
because the pool is very wide, Mr. Uti. If we allow this, we don't care what you mean. We'll just take how we feel and run with it. The pool is very wide, guys. We can really open it up.
But let's be honest, it's never worked that way. So my thing about that I always say here is that you are now a public figure. And a public figure means that, there are some people who come here to swear at me because I'm a Chiefs fan. There's some people who come here because they respect my opinion. There's some people who come here because of whatever they come here for, right? Or some people are maybe passing through. There's some people who may hear what you say, about they don't do anything. But then they hear the thing and then, I can't expect people to understand my intention, if that makes sense. So I could have the nicest intentions in the world, right? But I must also understand that I need to phrase and message in a way that makes sure that intention maybe is even passed on in what I'm saying, and that when it hits somebody, regardless of what they are, who they look, how they look at me, you can't glom onto something. That's why I'm like, it's a very interesting place where Hugo Bruce is, because he just so happens to be the head of a very big organization, or to our eyes. So he represents people that he may not even know that he's talking about, right? Or he may not even know that he's speaking to. But part of the burden of being there is to think about these things and not to say some things that can be misconstrued a certain way, whether culturally or whatever. And that's where, honestly, I look at SAFA. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, no. Oh, trust me. That side is well canvassed, and I agree with you. But I want to call out the public, Mr. Oti. I think we've, for the longest of time, and I say this with the utmost respect to everyone, allowed people to be ignorant. Right. And I think within the statement, people are asking, which why does he not refer to other people as young? Did he not refer to Mbogazi, to Mbogazi's age when he was talking about e-leave? With a young man like Umbogazi, if you are given 2 days off, you should be kind of jumping up and down rather than, I mean, you should be coming early because you are a young man. Did he not make that reference? So how, when it's okay, like, that's why I'm trying to understand the sexism behind it, because he does exactly the same thing to a male figure and refers to him in terms of his age and references him in terms of his age. And then he goes to a female figure who's younger and says, what you are doing is exactly like what the other older men are doing. Where do we get... Konamanje, Mr. OT, I need us to interrogate a thinking yet. I'm not saying what he said was correct, but I refuse to believe that we've gone down so much in terms of our expectations, the comprehension here to our expectations, and I mean this with the utmost respect. Our expectations with how we use our brains to say, if I feel that we're wrong, then we're wrong. What?
I don't know, but because even what you're saying now, there could be people that interpret it exactly that same way, that you can't call a professional player that or speak to him that way. There are people.
So where does it end? Because like I said, anything you say can be misconstrued.
That's why rather don't say anything. Now I've said this a long time. That's why rather deal with the things you're going to deal with, because they're going to be inconsequential with the running of your job, your doing of your job. You get what I mean? Like, so rather avoid some things.
Mr. Otine,
yeah.
In any event, there's a human
very quickly
in the comment section by the name of Unzalo, because I believe that this space is an educational space. I want to urge him to request so that he can show us the sexism behind it. Because sexism, I guess, is discrimination based on sex, believing the other sex is superior. So if I say this one sex is doing exactly what the other sex is doing, show me where the sexism is. Guys, let's learn and let's not use these big words in here because rage baiting. But yeah, and Zalo, I mean this Mr. OT at when I'm accepting. Thank you.
I request. Yo, Nyageti, welcome. How are you?
Ngiyaphila kunjani bhuti wami?
But ngimnandi, but uyakhe ungena uphi kule ndaba?
Mina bhuti wami ukugena kwami ngicela nje ukuyicala la ukuthi 10 years ago, 20 years ago, mesingekho kanje. Ufikele Mbalula 2012, uhambile national TV, wathuka ama player and say call ama players ama bunch of losers. And thina say accept le nto le. Because nathi bona makakhola out bad behavior le makayibona ukuthi hayi man labantu labo ba represent bafana but they are not showing a passion. We were like, yeah, as fans we were like sinawe Mbalula sinawe what but signal ama double standards ukuthi if kukhola out ama favorite players wethu we take offense and we are not asifuna ukumamela iqiniso ukuthi okay Hugo Bruce kahle uthini guys thina manje in South Africa ekule states ekuso right now uNhlanhla Mr Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi went ku public platform wa call out corruption. People were like, no, there was other channels mokumela ithathe mokungamelanga yena public. So us as South Africa we are good ukuthi siphasisa bad behavior. We like no, if umuntu go wrong don't call him out. Iyenze privately. It's and yinto elimazi ama legends wethu abo Junior Khanye, all those legends labo esikhule nabo Skarangobese. It's because of ama teams abo Kaizer Chiefs abo Pirates, they were protecting bad behavior eyenzwa yilama player lawo, and they never called them out ukuthi guys lento le yenziwa. they like hayi ngiyakubona ukuthi uze ejimini udakiwe hayi ngizokhuluma nawe one on one. And they never called it out. Busy continue. So right now Hugo Bruce uzama ukugwema lento le ukuthi ngiyayibona lento le and ushilo wathi iPirates what they did kule message leya they wanted to protect Umbokazi and that's what into angayithandi and siyazi thina ukuthi ama legends wethu they were once protected by these so-called big teams ukuthi umuntu makayenza into wrong they were like by brush out uThembi Nkosi Lodge went to waba case Orlando Pirates what they did they brushed it out by keep under carpet. We always protect behavior and we are cool with that. So that's why state nation yethu ikanje if ubona corruption bathi ngithula don't
I just want to use I want to use example like Mkhwanazi. I like that you used that one because after Kuluma then there has to be a commission where he has to prove all of the things that he said. He has to put forward his statements. They have to bring together everybody. Should we expect that from Hugo Bruce? Because like you're saying right now, Ukulmile, we've got his side. We don't know what Pirates said. We don't know why Mbogazi was not there. We don't know what conversation they had. He even refused to say what happened. Melesi Tate as the fact that thing, or should we be demanding that Bonkege, can you put everything on the table so that we know the full story? And now, are you just we kulma ngaphandle? What are you doing with Mbogazi behind closed doors? Mauti, you're going to put him back. Should we also ask for those things and find out what he's doing as well?
I think lapho ukuthi iPirates kube exposed ukuthi batheni communication what is it that iPirates ishilo ku Hugo Bruce. I think lento angeke yenzakala. Yabo kodwa mina vele lento ishoyo nami ngayivumela ukuthini babe more transparent ukuthi okay Umbokazi this na into ayenzile and nama ama consequences azowaface. So now as Umbokazi mina ngibona kwami Umbokazi is cool bro. Umbokazi ukhula ibhola udlalele emakhaya ziningi khona izinto eziworse abakhe bamtshela zona abo coach. So lento le incane uyazi ukuthi okay ngiflopile I will man up because ukukhuleni kwakhe ziningi izinto ezibhlungu atshelwe abo coach bakhe and lezi zinto lezi zimkhulile ula khona because of ibhola. One thing I like about ibhola ibhola librutal unokutshela ucoach wakho egroundini adu inkomo sana ulazi ibhola but not because of ufuna ukugceka ukuthi ufuna ukuqinisa ukuthi hambo train awukwazi ukukhaba akwazi. It's brutal isikhule ngebrutality ye honesty ngebhola. So Hugo Bruce I think yena angazi ke ku Europe nabo ukuthi babrutal ngalo ndlela leyo ufike la ukuthi most of the people abanayo lento le abanawo igazi lokuthatha ihonesty the way ingakhona.
But is it a fair honesty? Because mina ngiyazi ukuthi ucoach wami akangithuka nathi sikhule basithuka, but I knew that ucoach wami ungithuka lapha egroundini. But when we're sitting together, he'll tell me one thing, and when he's speaking to other people, he's not going to tell them izinto azitshela mina. And the problem with the public is that ungithuka publicly, and now you're not in control yokuthi abanye abantu bazoreact njani. So now I've spoken this thing, I've told everybody there is a bad player. What's stopping somebody in public that Bruce doesn't know? I'm just using an example. I'm showing him and now they've fixed the things behind closed doors. But Kulmile, they punished him, they did whatever. But because it's public, you still can't control how I am going to react to that thing. And if awukhulumi next time guti sisote 1 2 3 sakhuluma sayenza so even that press conference that it does it might not get to me. So isn't that the problem yokuthi mawuvulela abantu ulwa ne girlfriend yakho mabakubona estradini they might think that you did 1 2 and 3 ningene endlini nikhulume nibe right but then mawuphuma all of the neighbors still look at you a certain way. Isn't that a problem in this situation?
Ingaba inkinga nalokho ne ingaba inkinga vele ukuthi awu sharp ungangiceki phambi kwabantu ngiceke siba u2 ngikhuzele emakamereni sivale ikamera sikhiye sikhulume kahle but ngicela sibhekeni i-behavior kaMbokazi guys, because manje ngathi asifuni nokuchecka. uMbokazi 2 months ago or a month ago mekuvela ama-video wakhe aphuza surrounded by amantombazane alcohol. That thing was public, and the one thing we know about Hugo Bruce akawathanda amaplayer anjalo, right? And ukukhulu ngalento leyo thina esingama-fans yithi samkhuza uMbokazi athi phuma kulezi nto lezo. If you want ukuthi career yakho iqhubekele ngaphambili and ibe fruitful, you don't have to surround yourself ngezinto ezibhede ezokubulalela icareer. So now it's not even go siqeda ukukhuza ngalento leyo singama-fans, then wena uyabuya futhi uyenza into ebad emehlweni ka-coach. So it's like uHugo Bruce is like, what's wrong? That's why ashilo ukuthi right now uMbokazi sekazitshela ukuthi uyi-star. Ngifene Pirates, but we need to be honest ukuthi uMbokazi these past couple of months azange atshengise off pitch, azange ukuthi he's really hungry ngaleyo ndlela leyo.
For time,
for time khona la mina ngisibhale khona ngifuna ukukhuluma nange-agent ne.
Yo, 10 seconds. Everybody gets 5 minutes, remember?
So,
very quickly.
The agent, so the agent, why do they push anything on that? South Africa lost good players over our agent. Adams is no longer a South African player because of the agent. Upesadine is no longer a South African player because of the agent. Umailula is not a South African player because of the agent. So now, mina mengimamele interview yakhe no Andile, this agent, athi there was an offer from Europe, but Europe wanted uMbokazi ngemali encane. But now we are like, we need to do what's best for a player, not for Imad. So if it was
time.
best for a player, Europe.
For time.
Okay, sharp.
For time, Yagedi. Sorry about that, guys. Please, if you have not followed, please follow. Guys, can I just say before we go too far, can we not? Do we know full stories? I've spoken about this before, where do we know the full stories of all of these things that we speak of? Because I think also, if you're going to be transparent, if you're going to be honest, be as transparent as you are honest. Because the other problem with this is that we take a lot of hearsay as being facts. So I'm not going to protect Pirates. I don't know what, I'm not a Pirates fan, I don't know about Pirates, but I can't automatically think that whatever the message Pirates sent to Bruce had to have been a certain way, because I don't know. I can't automatically think that Bruce is not racist. I don't know. All of these things that we're speaking about, I think sometimes, and again, it's the problem with public speaking, is that all of us come with our own things. I have watched Bruce for 2 years with Bafana, so I believe that Bruce is a certain way. It doesn't mean that I'm right or wrong with what's happening with Bruce. I don't know him. I have watched Pirates, I have watched these guys, everybody has been saying different things. OT, I could be sitting here saying things, you guys wouldn't know my motivations. For example, I could be sitting here defending Bruce all day. I was Uti, maybe Bruce called me, or I've got a personal relationship with Bruce Young for Young texter. He explained on the side. And now I come here and I speak publicly to you guys, right? And I put it a certain way. Which is why, again, I have a problem with saying things publicly, because, again, you're not allowing everybody else to state their case. You know, a stupid example is maybe if Basia were to come out and say, you know, that little girl thing doesn't really bother me, it could go a long way to whatever somebody's saying. Or she would come out and say, it really bothered me because now when I walk into rooms, there's people who are going to look at me as the little girl that was reprimanded by Bruce on that stage. And now for the rest of my career, it follows me. When you speak about players taking money or making money moves or whatever, you don't know why they made those moves. We don't know why Pasadine made the move that Pasadine made. Maybe there was a whole bunch of problems with Stellenbosch. They didn't want to send him somewhere else. They didn't want to give him a new contract. Sundowns stepped in and he left. Maybe Sundowns spoke to chairman. Hey, there's a lot of different things that could have happened. But now, Pasadine has to walk through life with that thing saying, yeah, you went for money. So imagine what that looks like negotiation-wise. Imagine what that looks like when it follows you. And I think, honestly, Bruce has been lucky up to this point that a lot of the people that he's spoken about have chosen peace in most of the situations. They've chosen not to say anything because this could be very ugly if other people come out and say 1, 2, and 3. Even this comment here, Turnbow is saying MLS 2. Well, I think it's up to Chicago Fire to say he's going to be playing in the MLS 2 because of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or to say, you know what, actually, he's actually going to play first team football. We signed him in the under 22 contract and blah, 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 blah. It's not up to Bruce to come and tell you what's happening there before they tell you. But even if he does tell you, why then listen to him and take him as gospel? And then if Chicago Fire releases a statement, you might not see that statement. So you could live through life thinking, he's playing in the second division. Meanwhile, you don't know. Now, his club had to be the one that said, man, we sent all the things. The MD had to stand up and say, here's all the proof of the conversations we've had. I don't understand where this conversation is coming from. So that's why, Giti, I don't like us saying it's honesty because it's half honesty. It's not the full thing. We don't know. As we're sitting right now, we still don't know why Bogazi was not there. We still don't know what Pirates said. We still don't know what was said to Bruce. We still don't know what Bruce said to Bogazi when Bogazi arrived. All of these things we don't know. And if you leave the public to do whatever the public does, that is a very dangerous place, guys. A very, very dangerous place to be. But anyway, sorry, time. Sazi. Welcome.
Hola.
How are you, Sazi? Ninsa.
Yeah, I think we all agree with you, Umbogazi. Yeah, I mean, I'll unfold it. Ne? I think we all agree with Umbogazi was wrong to be late, and we are saying Uguti, Hugo Bruce is not wrong for reprimanding the boy. Ne? But the issue is the manner in which he did it, firstly. Secondly, is these two statements, which is the statement of which after I talk to him, he'll come back, he'll come out as a white man. That's an issue that is the main issue. Which means he took the act Kambogazi alone and Wayenza an act of all black people. Hence, but he's racist. That's the first point. Ne? Second point is that he called the agent the little lady who thinks he knows football, which means it doesn't, yeah? That's why it was seen as undermining. So hence abantu bathi he was racist and sexist. Okay, he issued statements that were racist and sexist, yeah? But him reprimanding the boy is not wrong. Mbogazi for being late is wrong. Secondly, the thing that we miss, Mbogazi did communicate what he is going to be late, maybe through Orlando Pirates, which abanye bathi he's no longer a player, Pirates, but he knows Orlando Pirates. That's the only team he knows. He knows good Pirates is the people that can say what he said, and you can communicate it better. Ubalekele ebantwini abadala, which is abantu abadala, is the Orlando Pirates. Secondly, another thing is that there's two statements that are coming from the Pirates. There's a statement coming from the management of Pirates, and there's a statement that comes from Wadu, the coach. And then Wadu, sorry, it's a call. Okay, and then Wadu says,
it's okay, it's Friday.
Kambogazi. Yes, he viewed the act Kambogazi as he viewed the act Kambogazi as unprofessional, which means we have two people that we may view as foreigners who couldn't understand the reasons that were given by Umbogazi. But the management of Pirates did understand the reasons that were given by Umbokazi, which maybe it could be a hence abanye bathi they assume ukuthi it was a cultural thing, which we don't know. Second is the issue that you raised, ukuthi we don't know what was the reason Kambokazi. The story is one-sided. And as one-sided as it is, it then takes away the honesty ka Hugo Bruce. Because now we say he's honest, but he's not fully transparent. He's honest with side like, but not fully transparent as from the boy. Which is the other issue that I have. But the main issue is that these two statements, are the main issue that abafaka Hugo Bruce into trouble. These main two statements. And another thing, as I close, is that Hugo Bros, as it does wonders for Bafana in South Africa, but it doesn't mean Uguti he's above criticism. You should also point him out as the same way he did with Umbokazi. As good as he is Umbokazi, then when he's wrong, he needs to be reprimanded. No, Hugo Bros, in issues where he's wrong, as the public, we should also point out his faults, as good as he is. That's what my point I was trying to say.
Do you think that in everything, do you think that we are owed as the public then if people are going to speak, are we owed the entire story? So are we owed to know everything?
Pela, Hugo Process already aired some of the issues, so he might as well air the whole story. He can't air to us half story. So now that he has decided to speak, he must also speak the whole story. As he is as Hugo Process, because now Abombogazi and Orlando Pirates and the agent, don't wanna cause a commotion. And also it's a critical stage. We're going to AFCON. We need a team spirit. We need the country to be behind the boys and the coach. Hence now they decided not to, because it would be seen as confrontational if they say, no, this is what happened. Hence now it seems good for the Guti. We needed a story. We need an explanation of some sort.
Okay, no, thank you so much, Sazi. Guys, go probably tap on screen, guys. Tap on screen at least. Follow on if it's your first time here. The show is on. It's a daily show, so please follow. 8 p.m. We are going to be here after Agents show at 6. Football with Koke. Is this Koke 460679? Yeah, Koke. Welcome.
Hola, OT.
I know. Mina ngijabula no masofaka lawa manje ba. No, khuluma then it's fine, I'll give you the time.
Alright, no ngiyabonga things HOT man, I feel ukuthi mina Hugo Bruce has just shoved the dagger into the dragon's skull. Why do I say that? I feel ukuthi Hugo Bruce, yes, maybe some people might have taken offense with statement sakhe about the race thing and the sexist thing. But there's a bigger problem, the rooted problem in South African football that made South Africa to suffer for many years, from 1998 towards today and going forward, which the problem is teams in South Africa tend to want to control South African football. And that's the main thing. I think that's what caused Hugo Bruce frustration. That is why he ended up saying, I got nonsensical messages because of that thing. It seems like he must be remote control. Remember, from the beginning, Hugo Bruce Afiga, there were people that were suggested, you must pick this one, do this and do that. What do Hugo Bruce, if you want me to be part of this team and coach this team, I'm not going to buy that. You cannot tell me what to do. So I feel ukuthi mina kahle yes ngiyayizwa lama racist nama sexist, ngiyayizwa ukuthi ngiyignore, but I feel ukuthi the root cause of all of this uzifike la ikhona, it's there ukuthi people want to control Hugo Bruce. People want to put a remote on Hugo Bruce, and Hugo Bruce akayifuni le remote, and kade abatshela ngale remote. Yabo, it's the same thing. Ngithanda ukuthi babeke boyithula lapha phezulu no coach Pitso Mosimane.
The same reason Coach Pitso Mosimane left bafana are these kind of things ukuthi abantu bafuna ukumama nge-remote control and akazwani ne-remote control. And I think ukuthi thina kunobhuti la ukhulumile wathi thina singabantu bala eSouth Africa asizwani neqiniso. Asizwani neqiniso. Yes, nami ngiyavuma ukuthi somehow abanye abantu bathathi incident akayisho and maybe yilo iqiniso lelo. But also iqiniso lithi thina la eSouth Africa, in fact Africa yonke sine problem yokuthi kunabantu abafuna ukulawula ama coach wama national team, even ama coach wama team. And Hugo Bruce is a victim of that. And for me, there's something engifuna ukuyisho. Bazofuna ukumdlisa to prove a point which is not that good as a coach. Bazofuna ukumdlisa ngeAFCON. And mabaqeda ukumdlisa, knowing Hugo Bruce angeke ababize World Cup. That one uyimake OT. Bamdlisa laphaya because they want to protect their own. And abafuna prove a point ukuthi he's not that good. They want to push an agenda because inkinga yethu la South Africa ama agenda, and ama agenda wethu eswapusha asibulalela ibhola kakhulu. We're in the right space, but because of these agendas esizipushayo zizosibulalela ibhola kakhulu. Angali sithanda whatever teams sithanda nani, but kakhulu ezinye izinto sis escalator because this thing they were just looking for that one loophole. One loophole, tiny loophole in the statement to push an agenda. And that's what's happening right now. That's why it's an agenda, race, it's an agenda, sexism, what. But the real root of the problem is, it's about controlling.
Thank you, Coke. I think because of that network, I'll just move on to Ustirophonic. Pastor John Stirophonic, welcome.
Hey, landlord, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm good at you, my brother.
And yeah, man, happy Friday. Look, here is, I think we all got Hugo Bross's gacha. Like, yeah, because like, we shouldn't be surprised. We probably saw this coming. We just didn't expect it this soon. I mean, you can hear, even from the time he was there, he would comment on, we can even go back to the Sundowns players. Then the comments, already it's touching everyone's nerve. Now it touches that particular faction of our football support base and fraternity. Now it becomes a thing. Now we found, like the previous panelists said, we found that, I can't say it's a loophole, but that gotcha. And then that gotcha it's one of those things where it's as if like this guy was digging his own grave and then they found that face just to say, "Ay, Ramotsen Takahar." But the fortunate part and the only thing that has helped him so far to get to a point where we're just coming with theories and all of that jazz is that he's been winning, or he's been progressing us. I don't know about development, but he's been progressing us, where now even the world is saying that, you know what, this country is playing as a unit. You don't care much about the quality, but they're playing as a unit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm seeing, this whole thing. And unfortunately, and it was bound to happen when you make such comments, and we're living in an age where even that comment, you can say, and not to say I'm defending Bruce, it's one of that hands ball or straight. You shouldn't have said that. It came out wrong, and the repercussions of the words that you say will give you a point where you say, okay, Human Rights Commission complain or what. So that's what I see in this, and I think I think what I've seen with this whole. Okay.
No, I just want to say I like the angle you're coming from. Does winning in South Africa, in terms of our fandom, does winning cure all? Because Rulani, you could argue that he also had a stint where the press conferences were a certain way when he was winning. We know about Coach Pitso, they were a certain way when they were winning. Stuart Baxter. Is that maybe a culture of South Africans that we give these coaches so much leeway, how about winner, that Libona, they end up tripping over themselves later on?
No. Exactly that. Because even now, if we give Rulani as an example, there was so much winning, that now it's like, but then Rashota guy, no, Aramalata gata back. Rashota guy, di kapo di guy. Ramalata gata. And then so much of that winning, it's like they are spoiled. Kore o jile maleke ramabaya no ba tshwara ke diabetes ya o wina no tshwanto focus ka tse dingwe, and then that becomes the excuse. All right, no, let's move on from this guy because hey, it feels like we plateaued with this guy. We need to go higher and reach for another star or reach for more cups. You know, that kind of thing. So yes, the culture is there, and the more you win, the more it's like, yeah, but we're winning, but ogarra short. And then once that ogarra shorter narrative grows and you're not doing anything about it, then it happens that you are given an excuse. There becomes the excuse for you to say, okay, fine, no, we can move on from this guy. Because to be honest with you, are we ready for life after Bruce? I mean, we only have 7 months remaining. Are we ready? Are we ready for life after Bruce?
When I ask, they say I'm being snacks. Is there ways to stop this, Pastor? Because I'm sure, man, there's ways to, man, just too far.
It's only company, it's only government. There are checks and balances. More explicitly leader econo kuze or exe. Emanyane, bra. Emanyane ga dilo tse di so. I mean, we just had the chat this morning in the WhatsApp group about the press officer or the media officer. Look at Romy Titus. Where was she in all these things? When the coach is having a media briefing, where is she? Where she can be like, hey, coach, ibambe kancane, you know? But you never know. Maybe that's the thing. I think it's something within SAFA to look at when you have a national team coach, be it Bruce, be it Vela Kumalon, the younger, like everybody knows there must be some form of not PR training, but somebody to at least guide, let them know, Raymond, there's going to be a question like this. Let's try and sway it to that direction. You know, at least I bet that briefing before the briefing.
Okay,
you know, that's what I see.
No, for time, thank you, my prophet, Pastor. Let me bring in Lufuno. Lufuno, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, no, thanks, Georgie.
From TV to here, from TV. For those who don't know, Lufuno's on a show called Zanzi Fundlis, man.
Georgie, man. Georgie, man. Hey, what's my gig? Madala Robert, man, George. And, you know, my issue is that I've been speaking Naga Madala for the longest time. Nobody hold him accountable of what he says. And for me, I want us to start from the audience. But it's a press conference. Actually, when he speaks this thing, he's speaking this thing only conference. And there are journalists in South Africa that are posing those questions and are listening to him when he's answering. And most of the time, you hear them laughing. When he talks, they laugh. You know, he, at one stage, he will have a press conference and he'll have a go at Kaizer Chiefs. You know, and at one stage, he'll have a go at Sundowns. And now it has escalated to players where he had a go at Lodge. Not once, but many a times he goes at Lodge and speaks about Lodge and whatnot. Now he goes to agents. He's having a go at an agent. The question should be, Kandi, what is Hugo Bro's job? You know, his job is to coach Bafana Bafana. And his organization ends there. For me, I feel that there's so many things that Hugo has done that are wrong in terms of how he speaks in public about the players that he calls. And at a point that because he's winning, people really don't hold him accountable for that. Georgie, look, let's look at Lodge issue, for example. He speaks about the Lodge at Pirates, and then he detailed the Lodge at Sundowns. and then the lodge that went to Morocco, and the lodge that is doing well now. And he has his own reason. At that time, he was talking about the lodge that is old. And when people question him, hold on, but you've got an older player that is older than Lodge in your team. You've got other players that are 1 year younger or just closer to Lodge. What exactly are you talking about? And then he changes his tune now. He comes with the issue of discipline on Lodge. But he forgets that next door or in his own house, he's pointing a finger, but the other finger is pointing at him. But he's got a guy called Mbule, who had a very bad record at Supersport. Mbule's last season at Supersport, he was not playing because of discipline. He went to Sundowns. At Sundowns, he played and then he never continued because of discipline. And then he went to Sekhukhune. He played, but he never completed his contract because of discipline. He's currently at Pirates. He's not even 6 months there at Pirates. And Hugo called him. And he's playing him. Now, the question then we will pose him if I was a journalist sitting in front of him to say, hold on, you are talking about Lodge in this way. But there's a guy called Mbule. How did you arrive to Mbule and you don't talk about the discipline of Mbule? And how do you then differentiate these two players? Because they are both South African and they both have the rights. By the way, South Africa is a country of rights. They've got the rights to represent their country. You are now retiring another player. Literally, Lodge has been retired by Hugo. Hugo is saying he's not going to play on this team. He's literally retiring him, which is, he should be questioned on that. To say, when we speak about criteria, you shift the goalpost all the time. You know, if you ask about the criteria, and he says, I choose to bring players that have qualified me. There's a lot of players that he has called now to go to AFCON that he hadn't played 30% of the qualifying games in that squad. Mbokazi, the guy we're talking about, how many games has he played in the qualifiers? 3. You look at Mkota, for example, how many games has he played in the qualifiers? And you look at those players, now he has called 2 young players that basically can literally say unkept. Campbell and the boy that is playing in QPR, the former Stellenbosch player. They are in the squad. They've never played any qualifying game. But there are players that were in the qualifiers that were, you know, if today I was to ask Bruce why Hlongwane has been dropped, he's not going to give you an answer. He'll tell you about stories that don't exist. But Hlongwane is performing well in America, by the way. So this issue of saying this league and that league and that league, I mean, Saudi Arabia, for example, there are certain teams in Saudi Arabia that are strong, but half of the teams in Saudi Arabia are not strong. That league is in a formation stage, similarly to USA. They're in a formation stage. But Hugo believes that players that goes in Europe do it. Can we give an example of a player like Percy that went in Europe?
Yeah.
4 years of his contract. He never played in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He never played in the Premier League. He was in Europe, but he never played in the Premier League, George. So for me, Hugo Bros says a lot of things. He spoke about Chiefs not picking Kaizer Chiefs players because of Chiefs not playing well. But this current Chiefs, it's completely different Kaizer Chiefs. They are 3 points or 4 points behind the log leaders. If they play their game and win it, literally means that they are in the same points as Sundowns. And you have this guy that is playing at school, the goalkeeper for Suwelele. He doesn't play at Suwelele, by the way, that guy. And you have a Kaizer Chiefs goalkeeper that has 9 clean sheets, if not more, this season. So now the question is, he was speaking about performance of Chiefs.
No,
keep Ross. No, kita ibeya mo George. Negiri he needs to be called to order, man. We need to hold him accountable.
For time, I'm gonna jump in, guys. That's Lufuno. I told you guys where to find him. Can I put it out, or are you flying under the radar?
Every Thursday, 9 o'clock, we're there, George. And we're still waiting for you, by the way.
Let me bring in Junior. Junior, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Auti. How are you, sir?
Man, Gimnati, man. Junior, tell me, where do you fit on this whole thing about Bruce, man?
Hey, this whole thing about Mr. Bruce, Mr. Oti. Hey, hi. Mr. Oti, I think the one thing we just need to clarify, although it is a issue between Mbogazi and Bruce, we can't be involving Orlando Pirates, we can't be involving Mbogazi's agent, we can't even be involving Mbogazi's new club, Chicago Fire. It is originally the question was about what does the coach think about his move to Chicago Fire? Why he felt the need to now discuss it's a thingy that he benefits financially. It's not about improving his football career because, he basically made it clear that he doesn't believe that if you go to America, you'll benefit footballing wise. You only benefit financially wise. Yeah. Can't we say the same for Nkota? Can't we say the same thing for Nkota for, prime example? Can't we also say that he also went to America, to Saudi because he's benefiting financially? So I really don't understand why Hugo Bruce said all these things. But to a certain extent, I agree with when he said that it was very unprofessional from Mbogazi. It was very unprofessional from him. My stance is that he should not have involved all the other things, He should not involve the Orlando Pirates. He should not have involved, because Mbogazi is no longer contracted at Orlando Pirates, as far as we know. He is no longer contracted at Pirates, Yabo. He's heading to AFCON, and now he's going to be playing in AFCON while this whole thing is on top of him now. So now the question now is, will Bruce now trust him? You see, that's where I stand. That's where I stand with this.
So when we speak about everything that's happening here, do you think how much does SAFA and the structures have to play in this? And especially because Bruce has himself complained that sometimes he does try and reach out to people and do things with people and they don't speak. How much does that tension also play into all of this?
It does play a part, but also we need to remember that Hugo Bruce, when he first came as a South African coach, he made it publicly clear that his job is to qualify for the World Cup, which he has done so successfully. And he has done exactly what SAFA has done. Now, what any other outside factors, outside external factors, basically, we can't really involve these things, because he's done exactly what he said he wanted to do. But now, but he should have known that when he was appointed as Bafana coach, he should have known that there are certain topics, certain things that are very sensitive. Mr. Auti, you even said yourself, your intention of saying something could mean so innocently, but to someone else, it's very offensive. So we don't know, because he's a public figure. He's the Bafana coach. He's a Bafana coach. So I'm sorry, but izinto azithethayo ngalo sisi agent kaMbogazi, and I'm sorry. That's where I was like, no. He went too far, Shane. He went too far. And to close off the statement, Mr. Auti, I just want to say, he with Mbogazi, I fear that his move to America is gonna, now because of this whole scandal, it's gonna affect like how he plays now. It's gonna affect him going forward, because now he's gonna go to America, and now what if now Chicago Fire have to now and give out their opinion about this, because now it's gonna be like, no, like we wanted him from the get-go. We wanted him from the get-go. Hear the conversations about what everything happened. And now Orlando Pirates now have to be involved. Why are we involving Orlando Pirates in Chicago Fire? Where does Bruce get involved in this? He's a South African coach. He's not a club coach. He's a national team coach. That's where I stand, Mr. Auti.
Okay. No, Junior, thank you so much. Guys, please don't forget to tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen. Follow if you have not followed. I'm going to go over a little bit, but the show is normally on every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. is usually when we're here. So please look out for that. If you want to watch any of the episodes back free, on YouTube, they are available on YouTube in full on YouTube, so you can watch any of the previous episodes. We've had discussions, we've had reviews, we've had all of these things all available that side, as well as my podcast. I've got an episode of that Overthinking Football show on YouTube. I just wanted to say, I think before I let the last panel in, here's my thing again about this whole thing. I don't care what his intentions are. I don't care if he doesn't like Chiefs. Maybe he met with Bobby one day and they had words and he doesn't like. I don't care, right? I don't care what the reasons are, why he's picking players. I genuinely don't care. The problem is when you start speaking, you invite speculation. And now speculation is a whole bunch of, it's a whole different thing. Now we're making things up even. Now we're making things up. I'll sit here and I'll go, yeah, Vele Pirates is such a bad team. And Vele, they do everything badly. That's my point of view, because there's nothing I can hold on to. And now, it doesn't matter, or I'm a Chiefs fan. Now I can also say those things in Jay willy-nilly, because that's what we have, the facts that we have. Then somebody who's a Pirates fan is going to come out and go, hi, man, Pirates, man, what do you mean? Pirates has always been 1, 2, and 3, right? Meanwhile, in all of the conversations we've had, we don't know what Pirates said. We don't know what Hugo Bruce said back. More importantly, if nothing was said by Bruce, we wouldn't know anything. We wouldn't even be thinking about any of the things that have to do, right, with whatever he said. So, guys, it's better to not have speculation in some places because, like we're speaking about now, speculation has taken the conversation to the Human Rights Commission. There was no need, guys. There's no need for it to even get to that level, right? Speculation made some of the Chiefs fans say, we're never going to support Bafana. He could have kept quiet and still not picked Kaizer Chiefs fan, the Kaizer Chiefs players. So materially, he keeps making his own job harder. He keeps having to, every time he speaks, he has to address and this and that, and then, I said this, now I have to address this, no, now these guys, now I have to apologize to Nseki. He came out and said, I had to apologize to Nseki and have a meeting. Oh no, I have to apologize to Sundowns fans because I told them that no, Tshwane is what. When he could have just and done exactly what he wanted to do. And with his winning record, he could have just and continued. He doesn't need, Martin, he doesn't need to nurse anybody. He's the cap, he is the coach. He can pick, guys, he could pick Siwele Kaufela if he wanted to. And not even have to give us a reason to do it. So why invite all of the things onto you? That's why I said, I started this little part by saying, I don't care whether he's racist, he's sexist, whether he likes Chiefs, he doesn't like this, he doesn't like this, he doesn't like this, he doesn't like this. There's things you don't say publicly because they follow you. You are still going to, Mbogazi is still going to Chicago Fire. It doesn't matter what he says. If he drops him, he drops him. Pasia's still going to sign players and sign contracts and do all of those things, whether he says it or he doesn't say it. If he doesn't choose Kaizer Chiefs fans for the rest, Kaizer Chiefs players for the rest, he gets an extension for another 10 years and he doesn't choose Chiefs players forever. That's his prerogative as the coach. But I'll go back to what I said. PR is about managing repercussions. A lot of us here work, let me not say that. There's a lot of people that work in places where there might be tons of racist people. But you'll never know because they know how to act there. And then they know, Huti, if I say something, it's going to bring me unnecessary eyes. It's going to bring me unnecessary this. What is the point of saying all these things? Because you could even go back and go speak to these people one by one if you wanted to. You could set up a meeting with chiefs if you wanted to. You could set up a meeting with whoever and have whatever chats and shout at each other and scream in a boardroom if you have to scream in the boardroom, right? And you could still walk out of that meeting and do exactly what you were going to do with your life anyway. So what is the point of all of this noise? And it goes back to a culture in South Africa where we love noise. And sometimes you don't realize that it's noise for noise's sake. We sat through 5 years of a commission. Not one arrest has been made, but because the noise was made, it's cool. We sat through all of the press conferences, Hugo Bruce. And not one time have you asked him, hey, Hugo, that problem that you had, what have you done about it? Hey, Hugo, if you're having a problem with this agent, have you called all the agents? Have you sat down with all of them? Has there been an invite so that you can watch how Bafana players are getting signed or the people that you care about are getting signed? So if we're not going to follow up on those things, again, what is the point of saying things out loud for the sake of saying things out loud? And to show you, he even knows. What did he say? I don't want to speak on this. But since you asked me, I'll speak. Hey, Vanna. You even know, you understand. And you think that those guys are going to be loyal to you. They got the headline. Bunzima now. But anyway. Mfaniswa, welcome to the show. How are you?
My brother, how are you?
Imnandi man. Mfaniswa, tell me, where do you sit on this topic?
I'm good, my brother. You know, it's funny because from 2010 up until 2022, bebengekho abantu who do content on the national team. There were no people who focused on what the national team is doing. There were no people who focused on how the national team is doing, how they are playing. As a matter of fact, they even lost hope to the national team. When Hugo Bruce came and he selected players who will represent Bafana Bafana in 2023 AFCON, majority of people never even knew Uguti there will be something called AFCON and how many players from Sundowns are selected, how many players from Orlando Pirates are selected, Kaizer Chiefs, etc., etc. Because people did not even care about Bafana Bafana the way Bafana Bafana was losing. Hugo Bruce came and brought hope to South Africans. After how many years South Africa became number 3? It got a bronze medal. After how many? After how long? People started to notice. People started to go to stadiums. People started to fill the stadiums. I am not there. I was just highlighting. What killed South African football was that agencies and club managers would tell coaches of South Africa who to play and who not to play. Then, by God's grace, we were given Hugo Bruce, who made sure that he does not listen to anyone, but he selects his team or he selects his 28 men or 23 men based on the performance that he sees. Not based on who says what, who understands what, who goes to him and give him what. Okay, let me pass there. You know, my brother, there is something that we call a figure of speech. And when people must understand, when we speak, Hugo Bruce is not a South African, he's a Belgian. Wadu of Orlando Pirates is a Moroccan. When they speak English, their English will never be the same as the English that we speak in South Africa. Now, when a person uses a figure of speech, I, as Mhlonisha sitting here, I would say Hugo Bruce was meaning that when Mbogazi come out of his office, he will be white. When I speak of white, I'm speaking as pale. He was gonna shout at him, ubezopuma e pale, because you understand umuntu ma umshout emnyama, umshout make phuma pale. Now he uses a figure of speech saying he will come up as white. There was no racism there, according to me.
How do you know that? How do you know it was a figure of speech?
Based on how I analyzed the matter.
No, I'm saying, how do you know for sure that Hugo Bruce is not racist?
I will explain. Hugo Bruce is a coach of Bafana. He's the face of South African football. He's old enough to know when to be racist and when to be not a racist. We are going to AFCON. He can't have, or he can't be in a situation whereby his players even lose hope in him because of racist remarks. He's old enough to even use his mentality to understand which language is racist and which language is not racist.
No.
Because we are playing petty politics.
No. The reason why I'm asking you this, and it's not to say anything other than we don't know what Hugo Bruce is like in his personal capacity. It could have been a slip. It could have been what everybody's saying, or it could have not been. But we can't just give benefit of the doubt because we've seen him on TV a couple of times.
Where I am is that as old as he is, he knows when to be, or he understands how bad the racist remarks are, especially going to AFCON, and he understands the importance of unity. He understands that he's going there. First time he got a bronze medal, and now he wants to go for a kill. So he can't therefore jeopardize all that and be racist. That's where I'm at. I'm at a point whereby he knows what is at stake. I'm at a point whereby he knows that since he did not choose players of the other team, already there is noise. So he does not want to afford a space whereby his camp is not divided because of anything, especially that will come from him as a coach.
What if he's arrogant? What if he believes doesn't matter? I mean, I've done this with Cameroon. I can do this with any of the teams. All of these things won't matter.
But that's the thing. We are here, we are made to believe that he is racist. And when people come with different opinions, it will always be a matter of what if. But those who are saying that he is racist, there is no one who will come with something that says, what if this? We can't look at an egg. We can't look at an egg yolk and not look at a yellow part of the egg. Now, people will always say, what if he's racist? What if this? What if he was not racist? Why can't we look at both parties? What if he was not racist?
That's what I'm asking you, because you're giving him a lot of leeway on your side. I don't believe in it.
I'm part of the people that believes that he's old enough to know that racist remarks when going to AFCON, that means that his camp will be destroyed, and he does not want that. I am part of the people who is bold enough to say that Hugo Bruce knows his job and he knows what he's doing, and he will never in any day wake up and choose racist remarks, especially when going to a big competition like AFCON, when most of supporters already are doubting him because of not choosing or selecting players from the other club. I am one of the people who's bold enough to say that Hugo Bruce, whatever that he was saying, it was not from a racist point of view, but because as South Africans, we are petty. As South Africans, we are too fragile. As South Africans, if people don't choose our teams, then we see them as an enemy.
But shouldn't he care about unity in that perspective then? Shouldn't he? But shouldn't he care about unity in that perspective? Shouldn't he have understood that if we're going to be unified, maybe I shouldn't speak about certain teams, maybe I shouldn't answer the questions, maybe I could even put the team in a good light, still not pick the players for the good for the of unit. No, I'm saying, you're saying a lot of things, but all I'm asking is, you're giving him a lot of leeway. It's the same as everybody that's been saying. That's why I mean, in terms of coach, then go to ukulume.
My brother, I will never agree on a point whereby people will make me believe that Hugo Bruce was racist. For them, yes, but for me, no.
Okay.
I want to move from that point. I want to come to a point.
Very quickly. 5 minutes, yeah, very quickly.
Yes. I want to move to a point that says, at this moment, all these politicians wanna be come out. They don't even know the struggle of Bafana Bafana. They want to come and they want to play heroes at a wrong time. At this moment, as a nation, we should be focusing on supporting Bafana Bafana and making sure that we rally behind our national team so that our national team can bring that trophy home.
Okay.
Right now,
10 seconds.
we should not even entertaining nonsense of the UDM. Who do they think they are in the revolution? We should not even entertaining the nonsense of the UDM because they are nowhere to be found. They are quiet about the issues of people, but they want to come and play heroes when it comes to sport. Sport and politics must never. Sports and politics must never in any day mix. Because
for time. I'm Pradesh. I gave you more. I gave you more time. For time, please. Hey, you can't go for time, guys. I gave you 10 minutes, please, just for time to respect the others. Please.
But people must. Okay, thanks.
For time. Tuli, welcome. Where do you sit on this topic?
Hey, Mr. Uchi, how's it?
I'm good. Where do you sit on this topic, my brother?
Sure. Hey, Mr. Uchi, I wonder this thing happened at the wrong time. And this thing was coming, Mr. Uchi. I think I blames the shift and SAF. This thing was coming. I don't know how many times, Mr. Uchi, we preach at this thing, a PR. There was a time I think mokwena, if I'm not mistaken, Kulumindaba NC Stadium yabo. I think from there they should have acted on that thing. Yabo. And if by acted even what happened now, into being avoided, Mr. OT. Yabo. And then going to our comments, Amadala, Mr. OT. I think Amadala has been here for like 4 years, 4 or something. I think at this point in time, he's supposed to know I'm a topic as sensitive. Even though I believe Uti wasn't direct, because I think ubesebenzisa show Mr. Uti, but useyela for 4 years and ama-topic sensitive into nje yathi black yathi white eSouth Africa ithinta izilonda eziningi yabo. So I think ulokhunjana maybe he should have used any analogy or whatever, but ingahlanganisi indaba zo white no black yabo ngoba si-sensitive. Enye sensitive topic ile sexism eSouth Africa. So I think usebela isikhathi eside maybe bekumele articulate in a different manner yabo. But I don't believe, okay, for me, I don't believe Umadala is racist. Because if we're racist Umadala, I don't think he would have applied for a job to coach Bafana Bafana. He wouldn't have applied for a job to coach Cameroon because those teams, they have black players. Yeah. If he's racist, why would I go and coach black people? Yeah, that's what I believe. Yeah, and then lay agent. udelelile Mr. Uthi. Layo udelelile angivumelani naye because there was a time where ekhuluma nge-transfer yamayelula before, right? Kuleyo, he was able to put in his point kuleyo transfer yamayelula isikhathi eya kwi-Toronto. But yaphuma kahle Mr. Uthi. It's not like he wadela agent classified indlela thize. But for this portion, I think he would have articulated himself in a different manner. Our raise lawa point. I think he would have raised all the points he wanted to raise without ukudelela i-agent alibize a little girl or who thinks knows football. I think lapho uMadala uyadelela yabo. And then enye into umuntu omdala Mr. Uthi. You know, as people grow, Mr. Uthi, kunama-filter agqashukayo umuntu. I'm sure now yabasogogo. Uyisho nje ogogo ama-filter ayanqamuka. But yeah, injalo. I'm just
mara mawanqamuka ejardini. Na uyazi ukhona lo uncle la sifake endlini sithi hey ungaphumi. Makukhona abantu yabo why simyekela yena ke ukuthi akhulume nje ngale.
Asimyeki yabo manje sama-attack manje yabo. So into emele yenze manje isawuthi umkhulu kumele avele axolise ne, because we interpreted it differently, abanye ba-interprete ngenye indlela. So axolise ukuthi okay we-interprete kanje, ngiyaxolisa bengiqonda ukuthi nokuthi and then sisetlishe lento sihambeni seku-AFCON. We don't need this right now Mr. Uthi. Yasiphazamisa because now we're preparing for AFCON and it's like few days from now. Yeah. But yeah, ngimele lapho Mr. Uthi isikhathi ngisibambile.
Hey, no, thank you. Let me go to let me bring to Ray. Ray, welcome. How are you?
Hey, Mr. OT. Hey. Put on, Mr. OT. Hey. Keep on.
Hayi ngimnandi. Ungena kuphi kule ndaba Ray?
Yeah. Mr. OT. Hi, man. Coach Hugo. Hi. Hi, matota. Hi, man. Hi, Coach Hugo, man. Hi. Mina, to be honest, mina nginandaba no Coach Hugo mina. Hayi mina ngikhethe izandla zami mina uthi hayi sengicedile nale khehla Mr. Uthi hey ungiphoxile man hayi
Konje username yakho ithini lapha ekugcineni?
Hey naye ayazi Mr. Uthi hayi ngeke ngisho Mr. Uthi hey because hey abantu I want to know bebawuphi labantu when he spoke a lot of bad things about Kaizer Chiefs players bebawuphi aba USM bebawuphi where were they? Hayi bebabhizi bahleka bebabhizi bathi hey sithatha iside lakhe uMadala uthi hayi qinisile lana vele uthi hayi Kaizer Chiefs players they don't deserve to be there. Thina nathi besizukhlungu thina abalandeli be-Kaizer Chiefs, you know, we were taking out our frustration players when they were not playing well because ifila le pain usaba like ama-player wethu azabangene lapho bafana squad but yeah mina hayi asikho da mala le ama-racist hayi mina ngeni lapho mina agitseni ngifuna lapho ngifuna ukuhlasela ulo agent lapho vele ngiyamsupport and kahle lalapha Orlando Pirates i-statement sakhe ukuthi they send him nonsense hayi lapho ngiyavumelana naye nonsense lento bamsondele yona unprofessional attitude yini lo hayi Pirates management you can do lots better Sikhuwa lungisa i-initiation ama-management be-Pirates
Mara statements
also lapho bathi they send him nonsense uvile nalesi ngisakhe nonsense
But what was the nonsense?
Unprofessional attitude yini logo Mr. OT. That's not the proper English Mr. OT. Yini logo. Hayi Mr. OT hey Pirates hayi management they must do lots better. And also ngifuna lapha I didn't like where he said like the agent ambiza no little girl because I feel like that was disrespectful Mr. OT, you know. To be honest, the vele day it was not right, but the agent the vele uthi they are chasing money. Hayi lapho ngivumelana naye. Because mina she should have waited like until FIFA World Cup, like it was done. Ilapho he was going to get better offers. Yes, but Umboraz is a breadwinner, what. But like the Orlando Pirates is paying good money more so. Is it not paying good money? I mean, abanye abantu understand money when they speak. Uthi is a breadwinner, he needs to earn more money. Hi man, because Dr. Evan Khoza mekambhadala imali eshisayo. He was not complaining. Nothing.
Maranello, yazi man.
Ngiyazi Mr. Oti, mina
Guys.
connections Oti. And Mr. Oti, he should have waited like better offers. You know, I'm an agent, they need to stop. I won't say this, Mr. Oti. I will say it again. I will say it again. Agents, they need to stop chasing money, you know, because that busy.
Wait, Ray. Ray, are you still with me? Yo, I hope it's not me. Guys, really, can you hear me?
We are here.
Oh.
Bangabe uzongena ku-live ngedatha encane, that's nonsense.
Let me try Ray one more time. Ray, are you with me? Hey, because we've gone over. Okay, I'm going to go straight to Velile. Velile, welcome.
Nonsense iyashesha ukuziveza nonsense. Because we know you need Wi-Fi if you go live. You don't need the data ye-R10. Mr. Oti, ado yinde lendlela esihambayo. Lendlela esihambayo.
Washo.
Umadena wathi. Usohlangana
Ye-freedom day.
Hey, I know. Ayinde. Mr. Oti, yinde lendlela esihamba. Ayibonile umsholozi uthi yinde lendlela. So thina asikho. Hey Mr. Oti, you know when you want to overthrow someone, you send the right person, the correct person. And they will send a person who has done that before. I'm amazed people they will ask Guti what did Olomisa knows about the revolution. We are talking about a person who wants to overthrow the government, ne?
General.
If us lalele indaba ku TikTok, we talk about the person who wants to overthrow the government, then we'll say he doesn't know anything about the revolution. But as kola pasidlule futhi.
I thought you guys there at SASCO some documents.
Yeah.
But I thought they taught you guys properly at SASCO there before you got inducted.
SASCO?
I was thinking about myself ukuthi hawu. Hey madoda. The person who ahamba ubuza le kumathanzima bazakutshela. Are we more English than Hugo Bruce? Tina, as Black South African. Are we more English than Hugo Bruce? That's what we are saying. Silalele phela. Besikhona la ku life look silalele. Awukutshele bhuti lapho are we more? Yes, Black South Africans than
No.
Are we more European like Hugo Bruce? Okay, asidlule. Asikho lapha. We were there thina when Bafana won i-AFCON by South African coach Clive Park. We were there when South Africa became number 2 AFCON. Coached by Ujo Mosono. We were there when it was coached by Moloto, became number 3, same achievement as Hugo Bruce. So whether Hugo Bruce stays or not, we can still achieve what I want to achieve. We cannot be blackmailed by saying Bafana is winning. Now there's certain things when they're happening wrong, then we have to keep quiet and not say anything. It's like umalume ukuthenga utshwala bese bakakudakela bese uyathula uyambheka. Ukwazi ukuthenga utshwala bese uyangidakela bese ngithula uyakubheka. There's no way. We're there. We cannot be blackmailed by that. If people they're not there, that's not our property. Nobody we're there. We know. We are not disputing Hugo Bruce's achievement. We are not. And the last is like life. There is no one who said Hugo Bruce is racist.
There's no one who says that. People, they come here sweating. But you know, yeah, must Dr. Hendrik Verwoerd. He must be smiling in his grave where he is. Yeah, there's a lot of what you know his famous quotes. He must be smiling. Good, I know. Good, whenever I'm starting to do something, who are the people who are going to defend me? And you know his quotes about the slaves. Good, what will the slaves do after we even freed them? So we're not. There is no one who was arguing about Hugo Brown said he's racist here. We're talking about the connotation on the statements that he used, and not about Umbogazi foot. And we didn't argue and said it was incorrect to discipline Umbogazi. There's no one who argued that. But he moved into a territory whereby it's not his territory, and disrespecting people. And the statements that he used, that has got racial connotation. We are not saying he's racist. We're saying the statement has got racial connotation. That's the statement say UTM. Statement
explain the connotation, la boy.
If you are saying connotation about, you are saying undertone. You can say futseke guwe manj, but guwe might not be offended because it's the way the tone that I'm using futseke kwa muyamuzu team. But I can say futseke, but this futseke ka ayilona ilo onendelelo phakathi. It's like when we are calling jayam or when they are in some way whereby I can use it, whereby there is an undertone of saying something with your statement. And then knowing our history in South Africa, we are so quick to pick up that because there is no racist, there's no racist person who admitted that they're being racist. But those things, you pick it up on the statements that are being said. Tone and connotation. We are not saying Hugo Brown. That's why maybe I was not even aware of what he says, using that example. And especially in a country like ours. You cannot go to Germany and talk about something about the Holocaust. And try to say, no, but I'm not against, but you've spoken about it.
And there's things like anti-Semitism. It doesn't matter how you use it,
It doesn't matter. Good, we are swinging or whatever. If it means good to go, we are harmed, we are resigning this, so it's fine, we will continue. We've been there. You are like it is not fashion to be there. We've won it. We've won this thing before.
Do we have...
And we have qualified for World Cup before, twice. It's not the first time.
Do we have respect? And I'm talking now South Africans and also people that work in South Africa. Do we have an understanding and a respect of the platforms that are put in front of us and how far they reach? Do you think that there is something like that, especially in football?
No. There's nothing like that. We don't respect the platform that we have been provided. It's sometimes we not afford ourselves an opportunities to learn with the history of the country and also even with the current situation. Because even up until today, we are still even fighting up until today by putting laws that have to reverse what has happened even before. There are certain people that in order for them to behave, you still need to put law in front of them. So we don't respect those platforms that are there. We don't respect spaces at sometimes. But when it comes to Umadala, there's no one who said he's racist here, only since this platform started talking. There's no one. Even the statement, people, they mustn't just rush to talk. They must read the statement of UTM. What does it say? And the UTM, whether it's Bantu Lomisa or whoever, they've got a right to talk about the Bafana, whether they're a political party or what. They're South Africans, most. And the Bafana is for South African. And Hugo Brown is a national team coach. The platform that he's holding is a higher platform that he needs to respect South African people. You need to respect South African women. You respect the platform that they are holding and the people that are going to address them. You cannot come and call someone a little girl who thinks she knows football and she knows nothing. And that person is a professional. Now you are going into her space. And whereby she's got nothing to do with your press conference. Your press conference is about Bafana. And your player that is the Umbogazi. The deal yakuya ku-Chicago Fire and his agent kuthi ubani, or whether it was a good deal or not, it's got nothing to do with you.
And it's
And then
finished.
people,
And it's finished.
yes, no, it's done. It's got nothing to do with you. It's either you select Mbokazi or not.
Okay.
We are not being emotional when we raise this issue. We are just raising the fact. We are not attacking you, Bruce. If he is wrong, he's wrong. Regardless of whether we are winning and none. A certain thing we have to call him into it and say, hey, Baba, here, you are not doing things like this. We've got rights that are put here for South African. We've got gender laws that are put for women. We've got laws that are promoting the professionalism and the equality of women. If women come into sports and as agents into a male-dominated industry, they've got rights to be there, to be there. Whether their football has got little knowledge or what, it's got nothing to do with you. Announce Bafana, talk about the Bafana, talk about Umbogazi and discipline him as your player. Talk about the preparation of the tournament coming forward. Don't involve yourself in a space that has got nothing to do with you, with people, professional careers, and their lives. Ngiyabonga bhuti.
No, thank you, Velile. Agent, I've gone over. Could you please close it off for me? I wanted you to come back and,
Yeah, my train of thought has left because I didn't want Villy to go now, but that's fine. There's a song that I love. It's a Kanimambo Frelimo. Some of us are true guerrilla fighters, not the Gucci revolutionaries, but we are not there. Mr. Oti, I think you must vouch something for me. And sometimes I find this difficult, because people would say I hate Rulani. But when I see I'm the person that was defending Rulani the most on your panel, they won't believe me.
Yeah.
Now, some are insinuating that I dislike Hugo Bruce, but I was here, same time, same place last season. Me and Abuti Kuso fighting on the same sides, fighting for Hugo Bruce. So you cannot love someone to an extent that even when you see that he's doing something wrong, you don't call him to order. Even if you love your kid, don't love your kid too much that you will not call him to order when he does something wrong. So as they say, you spare the rod. And Mr. Oti, during apartheid era, there's other parties in KZN that were fine with apartheid and they were willing to fight for the white man. There were chiefs and kings in Northwest that were willing to fight for the apartheid to remain. There are people that we call impimpies and there are people that we call house niggers. So some of us are not surprised by some of these things.
Oh, Tom Penisa.
Sorry.
Oscar Tshwarabo Bruce le wena.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. I withdraw. But Mr. Oti, here's my issue, and I think I need to come back here in a very calm tone, right? And say there has to be action, right? Mr. Oti, if I say something and you say, "Ish, I don't like what you said to me," it doesn't matter if I didn't mean it, but the fact that it came to you and it didn't sound right to you, that alone should be a point for you to say, "I'm sorry." Just that, It whether I usually mean it, whether you say it jokingly, but the fact that I received it, and when I received it, I didn't receive it well. That alone itself should say to you, I apologize. I'm sorry doesn't mean I did anything wrong, but it says I acknowledge that what I said had a negative impact on the receiver. For me, that's the most important thing that we are missing in all this conversation.
in this entire conversation, whether some will agree, some will disagree, but the portion, even if it's a small portion that disagrees with that statement, it's enough to say to the coach, please address this issue. And I think we have to get to a point where you call Safa out and say, I'm coming to you, Abuti. I just need to address this thing. Safa, why are you allowing this thing to gain traction? Why haven't you said anything to nip this thing in the bud? Because the longer it takes, the more cancerous it becomes. Even more cancerous than it's supposed to be. You see, this thing started small. It's like, Apollo. You see now what with Via saying, even if you go, see, but you can go, it's fine. You see, it's gaining traction. So Safa, at some point, and some of these things, I don't know how, because this video, this what do you call it? These conferences are not broadcasted live. Some of these things can be cut.
That's what the Springboks do. That's what the Springboks do.
There should be some things you say, you know what, hey, this doesn't sound well, let me just cut it out and at least an official thing. So I think Safa has to be taken into account on this, and like you're saying, it started small with maybe comments which were not so nice to Chiefs, and it will grow bigger and bigger and bigger. So Safa should have by now done something. I don't know what they should have done, but they should have done something. So I think Safa has to be held accountable more than anyone here. So I think that's the thing that I wanted to talk about. The Safa is equally capable of I wanted to use some word, but yes, it's equally capable of whatever, But this is something called the duck test, Mr. Uti. I don't know if you know it. It says if it sounds like a duck, if it looks like a duck, it's probably a duck, right? Now, Abuti Khuzo, if we search the comments of Hugo Bruce and say, Hugo Bruce, in your interaction with other professionals, be it coaches, be it agents, be it Safa staff, have you ever referred to any man as little? We've never heard that. Even when we were fighting with Rulani, we never called him a little man. Even when we were fighting with Mangoba, there was never a reference of little man. Now, and we have also fought with other coaches and other people in management. We have never referred to them as little man. So it sounds like it looks like it's probably a duck. So that's the point where you say, and the fact that you add nice and little also makes it worse. So for us, some who say it's a sexist remark, it's exactly that we're saying, that we have never heard you refer to any man as little. So that's where the sexism comes in. But Mr. OT, something has to give in, Mr. OT. In closing, I think we have got over the time. Even though you must go over at 12. You always tell me to go over 12. but Mr. OT, in closing, but how men can be little, men who's over 50 be little? And for me, the fact that you want to consider age, we don't know the age of that agent. Even if he's 20 or 25, you cannot refer in a professional setting to someone as little. The fact that you find it wrong, Abuti Khuzo, with saying to someone who's 50 as little is wrong. Hence, I gave an example that if I were to say to OT, Lomfana, it will be wrong because he's a grown man with kids. It is very wrong to say that.
Yeah, with a kid. Hey, one kid. Hey. Why are you giving kids?
So.
OT, have you never heard a coach say these boys when one of the players is 35? Just a simple yes or no. Wait. I get we're drawing parallels now. Have you never heard a coach saying the boys did well?
You're being
Well,
disingenuous, though.
no, I'm not actually, because you're referring to a 50-year-old man and you're asking why was he not called a little boy. So
No,
you
I
actually
would
want the
Khutso.
disrespect where it's impossible. How old is Hugo Bros and how old is Bashia? And when you go home and you come across an old man at a shop, would he not even say was alarm van? Would you even consider it disrespectful? Or would you even go and laugh while he says was alarm
If I'm
fan?
with my kid, I would find it deeply disrespectful. But Mr. OT, this is the example. Oh, sorry, not OT. Abuti Khutso. This is the example of someone who said in the barracks. You know, in barracks, I know what he's talking about. They can say, "We, oh, it's mama, your testicles is fine, right?" In the footballing environment, we refer to people as boys. You know, that's how it is referred to. Those are my boys. Even Rulani calls people his boys in a provincial
Is
setup. But can Rulani come out and say to a, let's say, a journalist as a boy? It's highly improper, Abuti Khutso. Highly and extremely improper.
I think, guys, Malume Kuts, okay, you
There's
could just say
something we're
so.
missing here. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, there's something we're missing here. I get it. We want to draw this parallel at disrespect. It's fine. I will say maybe professionally there's disrespect, and I'm glad we're moving towards disrespect and not necessarily sexism. In this case, Mr. OT, who would Rulani call a little boy if we're using him as an example in terms of age? Because those would be his peers. I'm sure he would call Abontando and Abo little boys. I mean, when I come back and say professional setting, you can't call another player a little boy.
Do you know what? Do you know what my whole thing? That's why personally, when I speak about these things, I don't necessarily want to make it about the sexism and racism and all of those things. My big point is that when you are sitting on these platforms, what happens is that your words cross into places that maybe don't, they cross into places that may see your words differently. And that is why whenever I sit here and I speak about PR and I speak about those things, is that when I am the president, let's say, I'm just using Ramaphosa, my words are going to be interpreted by different people differently. So in a footballing context, it works. But then now, when I'm sitting on an open public platform as a national team coach who heads the big thing, I have to understand that my words will then cross into places that they don't know the footballing context. They don't care for the footballing context. They don't care for the football. But because I'm in that space, my words have crossed into there. And now those people take it that way for their own reasons. So your justification may be that in football we call each other all of the things. But then in another space, that same wording may mean a completely different thing to those people that may be triggering for them or whatever. So that's why, again, I don't want to make it about the racism or the sexism or the isms or what he said about Bogazi or whatever. My whole conversation is about when you get to a certain point, there's a responsibility that you have to then be careful with the things that you say. So even right now, as I'm speaking, I know that there's things that I have to be careful with saying so that I minimize what might come off a certain way and I stay on topic. Because if I say something else, I may even lose the topic. Which is why when I always speak about Bruce, guys, we should be focused on Bafana and what Bafana is doing well right now. But if every time we come to a conversation, we're going to be speaking about Chicago Fire. Chicago Fire is a team that I've never thought of in my life. Bogazi happens to move there. As national team coach, my job right now is to say, hey guys, whoa, Silana. He hasn't even played for that team, Silana. We're speaking about Basia Michaels. She's sitting at home somewhere, doing whatever she's doing. But you've opened the door. Now you've said something that now opens the door for a UDM to be relevant in a conversation where the door was not there to be had. And that, unfortunately, is the weight of being a public figure, guys. So I don't care if he's racist or not. I don't even want to venture to say I know Hugo Bruce enough to know whether he's racist, whether he's not. Sometimes even the people we know could be the most racist people. I don't want to make that jump. I don't want to speak about him being sexist or not. I don't know what he's like in his personal capacity. I cannot fight for somebody, defend somebody, or even attack somebody. I don't know. All I'm saying is that there's a certain etiquette that you have as somebody who holds a big platform that you need to hold. I know now, if Supersport calls me now and they say you need to go do, I know when I walk in there, I can't swear. Whether I swore by mistake, damn it, I can't swear. I can't do certain things. I can't say certain things. I can't look at certain things. I can't do some other things. So now, at this moment, after everything has gone wrong, I think the one that pissed me off more than anything is that everything has gone wrong over and over and over again. You said this about that one, there was a fire, you had to put it out, come out and apologize. You said this about this one, there was a fire, you had to come out and apologize. You said this about this team, there was fire, you had to come back and apologize. You're saying this about every single time. And now, multiple times in the years that he's been here, and I spoke about this 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, to say that if you keep doing this thing, guys, at some point someone has to step in. Like someone has to do something. Someone has to be like, okay, dog, as in guys, unfortunately, the only questions Hugo Bruce will be answering are going to be pre-selected questions that we as SAFA have vetted. And then you're going to sit Hugo Bruce before he goes out and he goes, here you go. If you've ever done a really big interview for a thing, they give you an information pack and they say, these are the things you need to speak on. This is where you must focus. This is where you must do this. This is where you must do that. Avoid doing this. Avoid doing that. The reporter has a tendency of saying this. If they say this, just look at me. Like I know, because I've gotten a pack, a 7-page pack. That was information of what message we want to get across right now. So maybe now at this point, SAFA should be sitting down and saying, we're not going to allow these things. Here you go, Bruce. Makpela, you've made your announcement. They've asked you about the players. Makpela, we go home. Or there's somebody who stands there and says, no, we're not going to be answering questions about Mbogazi and Chicago Fire today. We're not going to be answering questions about the club that the person is going to today because it's got nothing to do with Bafana in the current moment. Maybe we'll create a forum separate from all of this after AFCON, after whatever, when his contract is done, where he can sit down and be as transparent as he wants to be outside of this organization. But the more doors you open with what you say, the more things you have to deal with. There's a reason why, for example, I don't like talking politics here. I don't like us to talk politics on this show because I don't want to open that door. You get me? There's a reason why I don't like people to be swearing and doing stuff on this show because that's a door I don't want to open. There's a reason why I don't do breaking news because that's a door I don't want to open. So you have to be cognizant of these things when you're sitting. Even me sitting here on TikTok, I'm sure if right now I'm looking at the stats, there's 11,000 people that have passed through this live. I have to be cognizant enough to make sure that I'm not putting myself in a situation where now it becomes another thing. And my warning about Bruce years ago was, it's fun when it's small. It's fun when it's people who are. It's fun when people are talking or whatever. It's fun. But when fun, at some point you trip over something that has nothing to do with whatever you're talking about. You trip. Because now it's fun, I'm sitting with the journalists. You trip. Now you're at the HRC for no reason at all. Whether it's valid or invalid, whether the people are shining or unshining or whatever. Now you are there. Unnecessarily so for no reason. Asakhulumi ngebafana bafana now. Guys, for time I'll give you guys Malume Kutso.
I'm sorry, Uti. It's just I'm thinking now. I'm going to my vine because the way abantu bayithatha ngakhona, even though no one wants to take responsibility for those feelings, everyone is saying someone else might take it this way. I'm going to my vine. But the guy next to him usually says European football is more superior. He usually says it in those words that go and do those things, kokas, when people play what we term South African football. He usually says that, and no one reacts in that fashion. And I'm talking about Coach Pitso. He usually says, Polo eo belongs kokas. We must play. And he says, you must play the European way in Europe. So those are actual statements that speak of superiority. But we look the other way. But here we are trying to find it. We are saying this 60-year-old Matala is wrong for referring to a 35-year-old as little. Mr. Uti. Because at this point, angazi ukuthi sokhona kanjani ukuluka past this, considering that everyone is either offended or sees ukuthi it could offend someone. Hayi ngonyamaiva Mr. Uti. Sifake labo coach laba abashela 99 ukuthi us black people, our football and our thoughts are horrible and the European way is the way. They say it and we clap hands for them. But thank you, Mr. Uti.
Okay, agent.
We must not be blackmailed. This is blackmailing at its highest. Yes, he did something wrong. You're not saying he should be fired. I say corrective measures should be put in place. And one that everyone has been agreeing on is an apology. That is all we're asking for. I am sorry. OT. It has never killed anyone. Just to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. Sorry, guys. And then we move on. That's all we've asked for. And by the way, if age is a matters, Bruce is old enough to be Mangoba's dad. So he should refer to Mangoba's little man also. But that is just in passing. But Mr. OT,
guys, time out. Okay, time out, guys, time out.
Bruce Mangoba guy whole 19 years. That's old enough to be.
Hey, time out, guys, time out. Guys, why are we doing this here?
Zero tolerance on racism.
Yeah, no, so guys, what a night. We went over by quite a bit. Hey, Mara, you guys. So yeah, that's all I want to end it with, guys. I think sometimes we forget that this is bigger than football. And it is bigger than football. There was a time when rugby was facing a quota and a racism and a what, and it was dragging rugby all over the place. Because some coaches were coming out and saying, but black people are not good enough to play the football, they're not good enough to play the rugby. Right? You're opening doors. I reference the Springboks a lot because a lot of the job that they did was to make sure that they closed doors. To make sure, if there's an episode of the Rasi podcast. I ask you please to all watch it. There's an episode of the Rasi podcast, Rasi Rasmas. It's on, I think it's on, on YouTube, where he's speaking to Nick Mallet, and there's a conversation where they had, and they say everything we're saying here. No, the newspapers used to do this. Then I couldn't go to Durban because when I got to Durban, they tell me, why are you picking Blue Bulls players? Why are you not taking Western Province? Why whatever? And he even says, what you guys did very well, Raz, is to close this thing and to stop referring to things and to stop talking about things and to change the wording around things and to control the media and not answer the weird questions and force everybody to hand in their questions before they go and speak to Rasi, and force everybody to hand in their little recordings first before you can leave there, and force that you don't speak to everybody because, hey, here's the Ufaf he can say whatever he's saying. So proactively, you can only speak to Sia, who we've media trained and we've done whatever. You can't leave it up to people. And the big problem with the conversation we're having right now is that you are leaving it to me to understand. You're leaving it to my next door neighbor to understand. You're leaving it to the guy in the street to understand. You're leaving it to the PhD guy to understand. You're leaving it to that guy. 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 And you expect that all of those people by surprise will understand. That's not what it means to be a public figure. That's why it's important for you to control and know that what I'm dealing with is what I can handle in the conversation. What can I handle in a conversation as Bafana coach? I can handle, this is my team. This is why I chose this team. I was not in the room. I was not in the room with Basia and Mbogazi when they were sitting down and they were deciding what team they were going to, whether I believe it's right or not. I was not in the room with Pirates when Pirates was doing. I was not in the room. I don't even visit the training ground of Kaizer Chiefs or whoever. I can control here. And this is my control place. Because the moment I start speaking about things outside of me, I'm calling them to come. I'm calling them to invade my space today. Bruce can swear at Rasi tomorrow. And do you know what's going to happen? You are calling him to go and reply to this thing that you're speaking about. That's why I don't speak about cures. I don't speak about what must happen. I'm speaking about when you go out into that thing. No matter journalists that you're sitting with right there. Don't. Whether you're feeling good and you feel like you've got, rather don't. Doesn't hurt anybody to say no comment. Somebody said it. Doesn't hurt anybody to say no comment and go home. And not have to deal with any of these other things that you're speaking and doing this and doing that and doing that and doing that. Whether you are emotional, it's even worse. When you guys say to me, he's emotional, I'm like, wow. At no other place in life, at that place, are you allowed to be emotional. And then say the emotional thing and then get away and go home. There's nowhere else in life. I can be as emotional as I want, like I said, but if I swear on Supersport or I swear on Sporty TV, who cares? No one's going to say to me, oh, but he was in. No. BCC is going to say, let's go. Bruce is just too open. And I think this is a lesson just in South African J. At Nati, we jump on drama. Even from that perspective, Nati, we jump on drama. Bruce said the truth. The truth is not the issue here. The repercussions of your truth is the issue here. Sometimes you don't lie or keep quiet because you don't want to tell the truth. And sometimes it doesn't impact the job that you are doing, guys. It doesn't impact the job that you are doing. Freedom of speech comes with the responsibility. Your freedom of speech comes with the responsibility of the repercussions that are coming to you when you say the thing. If ngiyatuga, I have to know that ungangishaye ngempama. For example, I have to know that I'm free. Ngiyakhuluma. If you speak freely, Bruce, if you speak freely, you must know that now you're opening up to all different things that can come and get to you here. And I said it again before. It might not be racist, it might not be this, but now you're opening it up to the interpretation of people that have their own things. Just like you guys are saying, he's from Belgium. Oh, he's 80 years old. That's his excuse. My excuse could be, I deal with GBV every day. And you can understand how things can escalate from a certain point. That's my understanding I'm coming in with. We can't cut the things we want to cut and cut the things we don't want to. Come on, guys. Some things are not there for you. And lastly, again, I will say at the end of the day, why make your job harder? Why say these comments knowing that you're going to be under fire for the next 4 days and you're going to have to come out and apologize? Why say the comments? That's the part I'll not understand. Because you're still going to do the job that you're going to do. You're still going to do that. It's not your place to say that. It's not your place to tell people what's a deal and what's not a deal, what's important and not. Because now there's things that are very important to you that mean nothing to me. But I can't jump on them. Anyway, live your life. Hey, where are the Chiefs players? Guys, I've chosen my team. This is Bafana. Can we focus here? You move on. You're still going to pick that team. You're still going to do the exact same thing that you want. You're still going to do the exact same thing that you want. You're still going to choose the exact same players that you want. But now, you've made your job even harder. You see this press conference that happened right now? Everything could have breezed over and he would have done the exact same thing. He would have disciplined Bogazi the same way. He could have called the agent and said whatever he wanted to say to the agent. He could have had his words with Orlando Pirates and all of that stuff. He could have done all of that. He didn't need our input on all of those things. And he could have been quietly doing whatever he's doing right now. Now HRC. Aha, there we go. Now HRC. Now, regardless of what's going to happen, at some point, he's going to have to get up and go to a court or get up and go to a meeting or whatever with this HRC now. Even worse, if they find something, now he has to do training and what. Imagine. For what? For the truth? You guys didn't protect his truth. No, he's gone. He has to go do those things now. Or it's angling that way. There's no point, guys. Even if you're the most racist person and you hate Kaizer Chiefs, no one needs to know. You can just do your job as you're doing your job and we'd okay. Guys, there's probably so many racist people that live in and amongst you. Sexist people that live in and amongst you that just know who they are. Because I'm going to make my job harder. But anyway, hey, it's late. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you missed the show, it is available in full on YouTube. If you want my thoughts in a more structured setting, my podcast is out on YouTube right now, Overthinking Football Show. So, guys, thank you so much for joining. The show is on every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. After Agents Show at 6. So please support the brother. And then if Chiefs, Pirates, Mamelodi, Sundowns, Bafana, Banyana are in action, we will be here also doing watch-alongs of that. I drop content daily. And thank you guys so much for the support. I'll see you guys then on tomorrow for the calling All-Stars game. Bye, everyone.